Here in the city of Doors, Dame's troubles tend to go unheard. The factions keep their own law, and the average Joe, well, we're stuck carving out our own order. But Sigil isn't without help. When you've got a problem with no solution, a puzzle with no key, there's only one joint in town to turn to. They might not be the most professional outfit around, but they always solve the case. Because when you're desperate enough to turn to these idiots, you'll find your conundrum might just be open and shut.
Hello and welcome to a little mystery-solving D&D campaign, folks. My name is Austin, and as always, I'm joined by my Burks blundering into the blinds with the dead bookers. Say hello, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Oh, yeah, we are.
I have not experienced this much D&D-induced stress since I tried to pick a fight with an elder brain.
Why? What's happening? What's wrong? Are we in trouble?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, whatever situation they're in, we're about to find out. But before we get started, I'm going to throw it to Sophia so she can do the doobly-doo nonsense.
Everyone breathe in and out. I feel like I'm the only person who's not, like, extraordinarily stressed out right now because I think I've become so deep into denial that I've looped around to being stress-free. But you don't have to be in denial. You can be hanging out with cool people over in our Discord server, or support the podcast on Patreon, or check out Model Our Nations, a new TTRPG from Eric Silver, our good friend over on Join the Party, or as you may know him, Clancy Two Shot. Check out the mid-roll for more on that. Which are all super fun things that you can do instead of being stressed out as you exhale. But with that...
Oh, we're supposed to be inhaling the whole time?
We were supposed to hold the whole time.
The instructions are clear. We have to start over.
When
does this make me less stressed?
Live your lives, man. Breathe when you want to breathe. But Austin, I believe you are now back to being in charge of the breathing for this podcast, which is a thing that we all have to remember to do as the events unfold in whatever order that they unfold. So... keep that in mind, folks, as we deal with the consequences of our action in real time.
Our actions?
Activated.
Yes, our as a team, we are all one.
It's in the open
group,
and shut contract. You actually, you can't sue the company for the actions of an individual detective.
We're all trying to find the guy that did this.
That's... You guys are an LLC.
We're a pass-through entity. Oobtaglor is responsible for their own actions.
Fantasy IRS can't come to us.
If we're all done riffing.
Never.
Never.
We just riff for 2
Correct
hours
answer.
and then that'll be the episode.
You want me to just face reality without my coping mechanism?
So, without any further ado, when last we left our heroes, tell me, little bird, what's your name? We begin at the top of the tallest tower of the Mortuary, where Maroth, the Death Tyrant, a undead skull beholder, locks its many eyes with you, Oobtaglor, who peer through the open domed window above his lair, not far, crouched behind some tables that have all manner of unsavory surgical equipment and jarred viscous liquids. Nix is watching. But right now, the focus is on you, Oobtaglor. What do you do?
So, point of order. Before I cast Fly on myself and flew up to the top of the tallest tower to pick a fight with Maroth, could I have just very briefly said to Bileyg and Ingrid, so as to avoid spending a 3rd level spell slot on casting Ascending to them, could I just have very briefly said to them, don't follow me?
Well,
and I fly up.
Well, I can't physically follow. But
allow it.
We're going to follow him, right?
Can you fly?
No.
He disappears into the smoggy, ash-filled air here in the lower ward. I'm going to cut back to the top of the tower. Oobtaglor, what do you do?
Is there an open window through which I can fly through?
You look around. His grin can't change because he has no skull, but his head does kind of tilt playfully, and one eye turns toward a window pane next to you, telekinetically pulls the glass, and it swings open invitingly.
They give a nice little bow.
Come into my nest.
They give a nice little bow and stride on through.
We all knew it was coming.
This is better
Do
than
you
I
know
expected.
where you are?
I think I would be remiss if I did not recognize the lair and the grounds of the famous Maroth.
Ah, then you do know. Wise little thing, but you have me at a disadvantage. What is your name?
I am Oobtaglor. Pleased to meet you, Maroth.
Pleasure. And he floats somewhere 4 to 5 feet off the ground, and he dips a little bit. And then he rises back up and says, "What brings you to my nest, little bird? Morbid curiosity? Desperate desire to observe a vivisection up close?"
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. The simple fact is that you have something that I want, and I was wondering if we could parlay and see what we could exchange for it.
You intrigue me. You bypass all those beneath here, the many legions who tend to the dead, and the close to dead, just to speak with me on something I have. Oh, I must hear this out. Oobtaglor burr. The eye telekinetically closes the window behind you.
It's okay. Oobtaglor's got this.
It's going great.
I would like to telekinetically tell Nix, don't come out.
Yes, you
I
did
had
manage
no
to
fucking plan to do that.
crazy on your perception. Did you roll a natural 20 on your perception?
I got a 25. It wasn't a
I know,
nat
yes,
20, but I got a
you were
25.
plenty high enough to be stealthed. I feel
Yeah.
like Oobtaglor did spy you, though.
I believe I did. I rolled
And, rolled very hot. Rolled badly on stealth.
Yes.
Well, actually rolled decent, but 22 is hard to beat. But, so you do know that they are up here. So, yes, you relay that.
I'm gonna try and get Manny out, and I see your sibling.
Yeah. Should I do it? Should I just stay where I am?
I'm gonna try and get Manny out, and when I do, just get out of here.
Okay, what about you?
I have gotten myself out of some sticky situations before. All this time, Oobtaglor is giving the perception and the illusion that they are thinking.
You watch as the eye telekinetically lifts up some scissors that go down into the now cracked open chest of the body on the closest table. Just sink down into it.
I've heard many tales and rumors of the work that you do here, and I suppose morbid curiosity is the thing that has compelled me to take a more direct route into seeing you. Just simply out of pure fascination of what you do. May I ask what you're up to?
Morbid curiosity. Death wish, most would call it. What am I up to? Here, I amuse myself. Tinkering, exploring, learning about the edge cases of life and death. Surely that is something that someone as knowledgeable as you could have guessed, knowing of my state. Gives a little dip as if to impress. I am undead after all. I do have a fascination with such a thing.
No, of course. I just wish to hear it directly from you, because dead is, dead is done. People have already done dead, and forgive me to say, people have already done undead as well. That is traveled ground, but I was just simply curious, I was curious to wonder if you were exploring other, more untreaded ground. The soul is a curious thing, is it not?
Make a persuasion check.
Oobtaglor reading out 17 magazine, like, undead is out.
Alive is the new
Let's bring
undead.
up a little information on exactly what the intelligence score of such a creature is. All right, persuasion.
I'm out of luck. I used them all trying to beat that stealth check. So
Yeah.
I'm afraid that's only an 18. I say that coyly. An 18 is pretty good.
You see that he, with an 18, two things happen. One, you do not upset him. Two, you're not guileful enough. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, that's fine.
Get around that you are, like, you're tipping your hand a little bit to some of the goings on here, specifically mentioning the souls. In other words, because of that check, he does not, like, perceive antagonism, but he also kind of gets the insight on, like, oh, you know a little bit more. You are, he says, you are wise. Perhaps you have seen some of the goings on. And he motions now, like, turns, and his eyes, not his one single large eye in the middle, but the rest of them turn to observe the various carts that have like drop cloths over them right now, very like classic cadaver style. But that underneath one, is Nil. You are tuned in to the goings on of the City of Doors. Curious that you ask such a thing. Curious that you wish me to regale you. I could. But then I would not be able to let you leave. But if you so wish, I could tell you the many secrets as I explore your unique anatomy. I've always been curious. A surgery upon a living ooze. Do your organs stay put when pinned?
That information and much more could be yours.
You bargain with the secrets of your own vitals. I like you, Oobtaglor Burr.
Yes, you're correct in that I know a little bit about what goes on in the City of Doors. As a bard myself, as a troubadour of sorts, and I go and strum my lute, I have been known to frequent the Civic Fest Hall from time to time.
Yes, indeed. You do know many things.
And there's many things I know. There is many more things I know, but not information that I will give out freely.
All right. And tell me, then, if there are secrets you think I would be inclined to learn, why I should not just kill you and drink the knowledge from your brain as I will the marrow from your bones. If you even have any in there.
I imagine that there's many, many great things that you can do. But something tells me that you like to work for your answers. Are you a gambling man, Maroth?
Make a persuasion check again.
I'm gonna throw up.
I've been waiting for this one, baby.
Olivia, I'm right there with you. I've been feeling that way all afternoon.
20.
Okay.
20.
A
All right.
D&D mid-season finale without a Noir monologue is like a day without sunshine.
Ain't no sunshine.
I should just keep this stopwatch open, actually.
Why? We're gonna be done soon. You can just put it away. You can just put it away.
Maroth is like, I've learned the error of my ways, and just passes on peacefully to the other realms.
I see. Empathy is the key to life.
We do a Sesame Street episode, and the next thing you know, bam.
It's much better
Plot
to
solved.
heal people than to harm them. We just need Captain Kirk in here to give him a monologue about, the benefits of friendship and camaraderie and shit.
Just
So
really
you see-
one.
You refer to my wager against the Marauder. A distasteful necessity. She had come into possession of something I gravely required. And so I was forced to ante up, they say. But I cannot be too regretful of that one. I did win. My opponents were far more skilled in the art, but at the end of the day, I have an eternity of experience. And quite the poker face, don't you think?
I have quite the poker face myself. Or
This
lack
is to
thereof, really.
say, this is to say, I do not have a deep need, desire, the longing to gamble. But if the stakes are high enough, perhaps.
Quick point of order. The event that Maroth was just talking about, he's referring to the Chronosphere of Lagos, right? Something about a marauder?
Yep, the Marauder is Shemeshka, and you would know
Shemeshka.
that, no problem.
Okay. And then, given what he said about, like, they were very skilled in their art, but I have experience, yada yada. Did he cheat?
If you would like to make an insight check, I'll allow it, or I'll leave it up to you, Noir, the player.
This is the insight check show, buddy.
Yeah.
Such is all D&D.
I'm gonna stop rolling this
Honestly, if you're not getting proficient in insight, what are you doing?
You could always dump
This is
wisdom.
the roll dice and
I
make
do
the
have
DM tell
proficient
me
in
stuff.
insight, but it's only a +5, so that's a 14.
I will say that it does not appear that that's like the baseline. It might be that he was cheating and he's playing it close to the vest here, but the literal meaning is that he's just like, yeah, I have like they're good gamblers, but I have like so much more life experience
Yeah.
or life experience that they couldn't beat me. And perhaps he's just bragging, perhaps he did cheat. Unclear to you, but that's just the surface reading of what he said.
Well, I like to gamble, Maroth, and I'm not really so willing to give my information over so freely.
Clearly, you have come here to see me. You gamble with high stakes.
Only the highest. So what say you? Bodies for information? I'm also interested in the,
Bodies I have. Bodies endless. And you watch as the whole wall of fucking lockers, ghost style, all the doors open and shut, and you see just like various skulls or feet, depending on which way the bodies in those cabinets are facing, as they all go.
So a trivial matter for you to ante up one such body.
You desire just one.
I
And
desire as many as I want, as long as I keep winning.
If the stakes are for me to relinquish a body to you, then what do I win when I am victorious?
Well, you may know, I'm sure you do, as powerful as you are, that I am an investigator for a service. And so information is my currency. I know a great many things. I know things about you, by reputation, of course, but who knows where my services may have led me to investigate. I have bumped elbows with all kinds of manner. The Marauder herself, as you have alluded to, and some friends in the Planar Trade Consortium as well. I have information on them.
Can I make an insight on his reaction to the Planar Trade Consortium? Does he get
Please.
excited with that? Yeah.
Please.
Do you like that? Do you like that?
Is this good for you?
Is that good? Is a 21 good?
Ooh.
I'd say a 21 is very good, even with his poker face, which is to say he's just a skull with no flesh or skin to make
no
expressions
skin.
with.
Yeah.
His highlights change color depending on his mood, and he can't do shit about it. So
there
He
is
gets
a,
little
there is a
heart
slight,
eyes.
the way that a cat's ears are, revealing of the cat's, inclination towards a cat's emotions, the floating eyes do have that sort of, kind of effect with Maroth as well. So when both parties are brought up, he is clearly interested in both Shemeshka and in the Planar Trade Consortium.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Okay.
I'm still hiding.
Fair enough. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Forgot we were in the conversation. You offer both of those, and it was his turn to respond. You offer both of those up, and he says, Well, those are enticing. I would be curious to learn more. But what makes you think I do not have my own spies to find these things out? Are you in a unique position, perhaps, to learn information that even the most cunning and deceptive of my agents may not obtain?
I suppose you'll have to find out, won't you?
Curious. So then, the wager you suggest. A body of your choosing, and in exchange you learn what for me? Am I to suggest a secret that I do not know?
Sorry, this is dumb animal Noir speaking. I'm not able to parse that sentence.
Fair enough. He's saying, okay, so you say you want a body, something specific for me, but now you're asking, oh, we'll find something out for you. And he's like, oh, so what is the bet? Do I ask you, can you find this? He's like, why don't you tell me what you think you can get for me, and I'll tell you if that's a good bet or not. Instead of me being like, well, I don't know what... He's saying, I don't know what secret I'm supposed to ask you for, because if I did, I would know the secret, right? So he's like, what do you know? You say you have inside information. What do you know that you could find out that I would then be happy to learn?
Can I ask a question as Olivia?
Please.
Before I do something as Nix.
Yeah.
The whole getting the whole initial job that I had about the chronosphere.
Yes.
We just know that the Planar Trade Consortium is now after that item?
Yeah, so the Planar Trade Consortium was supposed to get it in the first place. It was supposed to go to Akin.
Yeah.
Presumably because Akin doesn't... It's complicated, but consider him on the side of the Planar Trade Consortium.
Yeah.
It was supposed to go to Akin, and then it got taken. It got swindled somewhere along the way before it ended up in his paws. It was taken, and Shemeshka got it, and she gambled it off. In exchange for a bunch of people had to ante shit up, and she got, I think there were 6 people in that game. There might have been 5. She got what everyone else anteed up except for Maroth, who won and got what was being gambled for. Right. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Noir.
5. No, 5 is how many people.
5. There you go. Yes. So yeah, she got the rest of it, and then he got the Chronosphere of Lagos, which was Esteban wanted that, and that's why he got the information. And he was like, oh, it's with Maroth. Okay, well, we got to do some thinking about what we want to do about that situation then.
Wish we'd done the same.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, my question is, would I, since I'm working 2 jobs right now, technically, I never really quit Planar Trade Consortium.
Yeah, you're still technically employed by them.
Would I have heard any information about any upcoming plans of them to get this from Maroth?
They said that they would contact you if they thought they were ready, but they were like, we do want to do it, but we've got to weigh the benefits and the risks. Like, how much do we want to put into this before we start this job, right? How much are we going to invest, so to speak, in their parlance?
I want to reach out to Oobtaglor and just be like, I mean, the planar trade is after that thing. If we want to tip him off, we can also do a play with me being here and then saying, actually, never mind, we want to be on your side. I don't know. I've never been this in trouble.
I'll keep it under advisement.
I mean, it is worth knowing, so keep in mind that obviously all of these factions
I'm just trying to help.
Big. No, actually, I think Nix was incredibly helpful, because keep in mind that all of these factions are very big. There's a lot going on, and we are regular human beings simulating all of these goings on, right? So I know a lot about the world, but I don't know everything, because there's far more detail than any person could reasonably be expected to create and then remember. All that being said, imagine the same thing for Nix. You are an agent of the Planar Trade Consortium, and thus know a lot. There are probably secrets Nix knows that you, Olivia, don't know because you haven't lived.
Because I'm not
20 whatever years as Nix.
You're telling me that I'm not Nix? Wait.
Exactly.
Right?
You're
destroyed.
fucking me up, man. Dude,
So-
you just broke my suspension of disbelief.
So imagine complexly that you are, an agent of this faction.
Cool. I would like to start feeding some trade secrets that I know about the Planar Consortium, anything about this specific job that I know around the Chronosphere, to Oobtaglor.
Okay.
PTC
So
agent Jeff never washes his hands after he exits the restroom. Over.
I don't know, is this anything? I'm truly like, I don't know, is this anything? I know this about this person, and I know this, and I know that they had this meeting on this date, and this happened, and this person signed this paperwork, and they're going into this division now.
Okay. So Oobtaglor, you start getting info dumped a bunch of stuff about the Planar Trade Consortium. Perhaps we'll have 2 roles. I would like, let's start with Nix. Nix, can you make me an investigation check? And I think this is you putting together things you know to try to create to try to figure out what the tantalizing piece of information may be.
Okay. That's bad. That's a 3 on the die plus 6, so it's a 9 total.
Okay.
I'm gonna use one of my psi bolster.
Okay,
Nice.
you're gonna increase it. Okay.
Yeah. That's a 6, so it's a 15.
Okay.
A 15 is not bad. On a 15, you don't know what it is, but you're also not spewing gibberish at Oobtaglor. We're going to move this to the second part of the check. So if you'd rolled very well, it might have been that Oobtaglor didn't have to make any kind of check because you would have had the nugget. But we're going to move to Oobtaglor now. Oobtaglor, I would also like for you to make me an investigation check. Hearing these things come through your mind.
21.
Oh, 21! So anyone?
21. You begin hearing about all this stuff, and what stands out to you, and maybe it's that you're standing face to face with Maroth, but what stands out to you is not the assassinations or the thefts that Nix has done, because those are actions that the Planar Trade Consortium has done in the past. Breadcrumbs to that trail exist, right? This is something Maroth might have been able to get. What stands out to you is the stuff that only someone who has, even if briefly, met with, spoken with, knows Esteban could know. And it's his demeanor involving the chronosphere of Lagos and this entire job. And as the information is coming into your mind and you're kind of playing coy with your I'm going to just assume your passive performance is high enough that you're kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Peacock strutting about a little bit of like chewing the scenery as you build up to the information, waiting for the right piece of information to come in. As all of this is happening, you piece together what is going to be useful, which is we don't just know Nix specifically, but all of us don't just know the boss man. We know Esteban. Like, we've been in the same room with this dude.
Biblically.
We could get in the same room with this dude if we wanted to, you know?
I don't know. That was a choice. I'm sorry.
Look, tensions are
Many
running
choices
high,
are
all
being
right?
made right now.
Sometimes he asks me to turn into certain people. It's a job.
All right, in all that hubbub, I've forgotten the last thing that Maroth has asked me.
Sorry, Maroth was asking like what information, and this was all connected back to him being like, I don't even know what to ask you for. You give me something, and I'll tell you what I want based on like something that you know that I wouldn't know. It's a complicated situation, I admit, because you're both playing chicken with each other a little bit, where you're like, I'll give you information for a body, and he's like, what kind of information would you give me for this body? And then you have to think back like, okay, well, if I tell you the information I would give you, then you would have it and there would be no bet, right?
Yeah.
It's complicated, but he's trying to not get swindled here, and you're trying to get out alive. So this is why this exchange is happening the way it is. But it's Esteban's. The thing that is important to you is Esteban's focus on the chronosphere, the resources he's put into trying to get it, aka using a good agent, but also hiring out a bunch of people, sending them into Shemeshka's lair, his biggest competitor, like, you know, his arch nemesis, basically, risking backlash from her to try to figure out what happened to this thing that was definitely already gone, right? He has a desire for this object that goes past business. And that is something that could only have been picked up by Nix and the rest of you from interacting with him regarding this. From having been on the inside of this whole exchange, you know?
I'm going to give you two...
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm going to give you two key words, and I'll let you make the inferences between them. The Planar Trade Consortium. The Chronosphere of Lagos.
Originally intended to receive it, I know. Taken by the Khan woman. She is resourceful. And I already know you know of the Chronosphere.
That's not the whole story.
Not the whole story. Then you would wager this body for the whole story.
We'll see. Depends on the value of the body, something of which I think you are very good at appraising.
Yes, yes, yes. Which comes to the final piece of negotiation. Which body is it that you are after? I take it not anyone will do. Only someone who seeks something specific would have come here to speak to me, to offer this, to risk the backlash of powerful enemies. What corpse are you looking to take?
At risk of showing my hand, I suppose. My interest extends simply in the same area of research as you. We have already alluded to the interest of the soul, the role of petitioners in this planescape, but more importantly, what happens to their mortal bodies, if, for instance, say the soul were to be separated from it. That's all I know. And I just wish to inquire about that further.
Yes,
I'm not saying
yes.
whether or not I have an interest in any of these particular bodies, but perhaps I'd like to shop around.
Come. If you'd wanted to simply take any of them, you would have intercepted the one that is on its way here now. You clearly know of Lykrich and the Fiend's actions. You come to the belly of the beast. If we are to do business, do not play coy.
Very well. You have a changeling. I don't know for how long, but I spied them when I was peeking outside your window.
Ah, this one then. The telekinetic eye pulls back the sheet to reveal indeed a person who looks shockingly like Nix. Even for changelings who are often pretty similar looking in that they are pretty uniform, and, you know, the individuality comes from the different forms they can take. You see the body of Nil staring coldly up at the sky from this white cart.
Do they
Nix,
just look
what
dead?
is your...
or is there... Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Pardon me, Noir. But Nix, Olivia, I suppose. What is Nix's reaction?
I was just thinking that, but I didn't want you to make me roll another stealth because I feel like she would make a noise.
Crazy boy. Stay cool, boy.
She's vibrating.
Maroth will have to forgive you. You do show tunes when you're stressed.
I think in this dramatic moment, seeing what looks like the dead body of your triplet,
the
second time you've seen such a sight.
Yeah.
I am gonna ask for a stealth check, but because you are already hidden, I'm going to allow it at advantage if you think that's appropriate for Nix. If you think that just straight would be more appropriate based on their reaction, that's up to you. But I would allow it at advantage based on the fact you are already hidden.
Listen, I never do anything straight, but
Hey.
but unfortunately, I do think there would be some kind of disadvantage because this would be a very, very effective scene for her. Like seeing this, Nix, they would have a moment where they did not act in a smart, just like a bodily reaction. I don't think it's anything they would think about. I think it's either a gasp or like a choke or like just something audible. Like they're next to one of the carts and they slip a little bit and knock something. Something happens. So I am gonna. Unfortunately, right. I know, guys. Dramaturgically, it makes sense.
Damn you, integrity.
You know what? Go ahead and roll, and I'm gonna give you an inspiration for.
Thank you.
For going with it. So, you have a DM inspiration.
Nix.
That's a 13.
Okay.
Plus 9 for stealth. So that is a 22.
God, I love rogues.
That meets it. And he's distracted.
That's why I offered you advantage on it, is that you're already hidden. Meets it, beats it is...
What's the rule there?
You are setting the DC...
Here's the thing.
Sorry.
I'll use a side bolstered knack.
Now it's been a...
You want to just use your inspiration?
You did just receive an inspiration.
What is the inspiration again?
It would be a D8
it's a
to roll.
D8. That's
so
right.
that would be free if you'd like to roll it. Because I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering interpretation of the rules correctly, you're setting the DC by rolling. Like, his 22 would still meet your DC,
correct.
right?
You're correct. So, yeah, just to be safe, I'm going to use this inspiration.
Okay.
24.
Okay.
All right.
A light gasp, but one single eye rotates through, but like turns and looks around, but then rotates right back around, does not spot you.
Oh God, okay.
This is the one.
Shut up.
You desire.
Does it just looks dead? They just look dead? No.
Do you want to get up and inspect?
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead. You can walk closer and roll me a medicine.
Medicine. Never done that before.
It's a rare one.
Yes. I was so excited to have medicine checks perhaps matter in this session.
19.
19. Okay. So looking at the body, not the dead body. Looking at the body, it appears dead. You can kind of tell that it's cold and pallid. You don't feel any breath, and yet what had from a distance seemed to be glassy eyes, you walk up and there's almost a sense that they are not facing the ceiling but looking at the ceiling. There is something about this body that is not quite dead.
Check the pulse. No pulse.
It's only
You check for a pulse.
dead.
There is no pulse. You also know that Nil has been missing for some time. If this body was dead, this body looks a couple hours old. If this was actually a dead body, based on when Nil went missing, you would be looking at something far nastier.
The preservation is astounding. Am I to assume that's your work?
I wish. No. Something about the unique nature of having their souls ripped from them, but not transcend to an afterlife, kept contained, means that they balance on the precipice of life and death, but out of the reach of undeath. It is most curious. And you could choose a worse specimen. The unique nature of this one, being able to change its form, is not completely gone from the body. You watch as a scalpel picks up a scalpel and lightly draws across the collarbone, barely enough for a little line to appear, but as it does, you watch as the flesh underneath changes color, goes from basically like white to rotates through several different skin tones. It's cuttlefish like. There's kind of like a rippling effect by the scratch, and then the scalpel places down.
What the fuck?
I hope that damage to the product will not in any way ruin our arrangement.
As I said, information is my currency, and you have provided me with plenty. And I wish to extract more from it. Assuming I win, of course.
Yes. So now, the arrangement. What have you told? You received all that information from Nix. What have you told to Maroth?
I am I am implying that I know more information about the Planar Trade Consortium's desire for the Chronosphere of Lagos.
Okay.
And so, if he were to ask a question, should be directed for that.
Understood. Well, it seems you have familiarities that are quite rare. Ledgers can be intercepted. But secrets kept only in a mind, those are far more difficult to extract. Though, not impossible. And you watch as some, big forceps, rise from a table, clink, 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 and then go back down.
Bad. 0 stars.
The head of the Planar Trade Consortium, who you must know well, has a desire for the Chronosphere. I wish to know why he hunts it.
I can give you that.
Then, I suppose we have a wager. Oobtaglor,
one more thing.
Burr.
What's up with the rat?
Make a deception check.
Oh my fucking god, we were. It was good.
The rat is the goal here. You gotta understand the rat's the goal
You have
here.
to understand that one of these is an NPC that's a sibling of one of our PCs, but we've never met them, and the other is a rat.
The other's a rat.
We've known a while, so one of the
Deception, you
cat.
said?
Yeah.
Deception.
22.
Okay. We're gonna roll the tiny dice.
Ooh, itty bitty.
22. Okay, he has a +6. Okay. The cranium rat. Well, truth be told, I am not sure. The cage clinks off the table, and for a moment it looks like this little wicker cage is going to fall to the ground, and instead floats through the air with kind of slowly turning, so that the rat has to walk through it almost like a hamster wheel kind of situation. Comes over and dances in front of you. They are cunning and full of useful secrets, but often only in great numbers. It is unclear to me whether this is an agent of that faction or vermin to be disposed of.
You just
I thought
said
about
that,
trying to strip the secrets from its brain, but they are so small it is a tedious process.
You just said that they are only useful in numbers, so therefore they must be vermin.
Usually only
You have,
knowledgeable.
and I'm afraid that you might have risked sullying your little workspace here, sterile as I'm sure it might be before their entry.
You look at the literal pools of dried blood everywhere. I of course had to make a battle map for this scenario because who knew how it was going to go. And it does have many pools of dried blood, but I didn't want to put that in front of you guys for risk of being subconsciously communicating that you were about to enter combat. But yeah, no, absolutely. There's torture things in here. There's a workspace. There's actually what looks like. We got so caught up in the roleplay I didn't describe. There's what looks like off to the side a giant. It's a circle with a bunch of rings around it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like an arcane looking
Gyrosphere?
No, yeah, it's an archaic. Looks like how you would measure stars and planets and things like that.
Astrolabe.
Oh, an orrery.
Thank you. Yes. Floating over green glowing circles. It's clearly an enchanted magic item that is slowly, and it's glowing lime green. It's slowly rotating. It is definitely the most magical thing, but far from the most disturbing thing in this room. Sorry. Regardless, you were talking about sullying the nature. You wish to add this rat to the bargain?
I was going to simply suggest that you let it go, but if you want to include it in the bargain...
Make me... What kind of check? You're still deceiving, but I think that this is more persuasion. You're trying to get... You've already succeeded on your deception about you're obscuring the fact that you know about this rat and actually want it. Now you're trying to get him to just let it go. So go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Meanwhile, Manny's like, "Hey, it's Oobtaglor! Oobtaglor, hi!
Shut up, rat! I fucking hate rats!
My best friend!"
I'm so glad that's not me.
No, Nix! Nix is
Persuasion,
over
you
there!
said?
Yeah, persuasion.
20.
20?
Damn, yes.
This is a very difficult thing because he has an interest in it, but not that much of an interest in it. And it's weird that you brought it up, but also you've correctly put him off the trail. You've successfully put him off the trail of it being suspicious. He eyes you, the one big eye stays on the rat, but the other ones kind of turn and look at you. And he says, very well. Dispose of it on your way out. And he will put the cage into your pseudopods.
Oh.
Rat acquired.
Nix,
I will kind of gingerly kind of extend it away from me as I'm
like it's gross.
Like it's gross.
All right. So, a bargain struck. let's say, 24 hours to obtain what I need.
Are we not gambling for it? What's going on here?
Oh, yes. But I do not want you to... You must understand. Most do not arrive in my lair and ooze out of their own volition. So, in this unique circumstance, it is a gamble, but the reward expires. Otherwise, you might have just snuck in here, learned something, and left on a lie that you would fulfill the contract.
Wait, he's saying even if I win, I only have 24 hours to, like, leave, and then I have to come back?
You have 24 hours to win. He's like, I'm not just going to leave this open for forever, because, like, what if you're a spy who came in here and you've learned what you wanted to learn, and you're just lying to me right now? I don't think that's happening, but you're just lying to me.
Yeah,
I
what
want to
if
know
you're
that you're
just
actually
lying
going to
to
do...
him?
I want
Yeah.
to know that you're actually going to do this job.
I think the gist is because
So-
we don't actually know why Edmund is so obsessed with the crow. What's
We
his
only
face?
know that he's very obsessed
Right,
with it. I don't even think Nix knows
Oh,
why.
Oobtaglor was
exactly.
fully bluffing when we were saying that. This is a boon. Okay.
Wait, you
I
were
think-
lying?
Yeah, dude.
None of us can tell.
Wait, what?
I think it's that,
What?
like he's not gonna let you walk out with the body. I think the bet that he thinks this is that whether or not you can even deliver on it. Like if you succeed,
Yeah.
you get the body. If you fail, some something horrible, fate, vivisection, slime tutorial, yada yada. So I'm assuming that it's like you have 24 hours to make good on your side of this, or you will lose the bet.
In the event that I lose the bet, I have 24 hours to make good on it.
Let
Right.
me be clear. You have 24 hours to claim your reward on the bet. Otherwise, the bet's off. If you come in 48 hours and you're like, I did learn that thing about Esteban, he's going to be like, okay, well, bet's off now because I don't
think
really even super trust you that
It's
much.
less of a bet
You-
and more of a you get this information for me, then you get the body and you get to live kind of deal.
Yeah, it's more like a deal. I guess it's less of a wager. And
Oh,
more
sorry.
like
I
a-
was
more like-
suggesting that we would actually like gamble. If I win, I get the body. If you win, you get the information. Like here and now.
How about we go with the
my
option?
mistake. I thought an arrangement was coming to me. So
Well, I'll take a
what-
24-hour
wait,
arrangement.
so-
Hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
yeah,
You have
we're okay,
24
we're okay.
hours to solve the adventure, and you're like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
hold
wanted
on.
to do this with rollies.
that's. I know we keep saying gamble. I guess I was thinking of it more of a deal. I was not expecting that you would just want to roll. Like, what kind of what gambling thing?
Dragon
you thought
chest.
to me?
Dragon
You didn't
chest.
bring up,
Thinking
like
of a
cards or
number.
dice or anything. To me, the gamble was okay. I'm gonna let you leave here if you can. I'm gambling. If you can get that information, then I'll give you this thing. You win the bet, and if not, then all bets are off. I see why that doesn't really sound like a gamble. It is more like
I see.
an arrangement, a negotiation.
This whole conversation has been a gamble of your life.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I say
The
you just get out.
gambling has already happened.
Gambling? Hey, you won.
We
you
can
won.
just do rollies
Get
for another
the fuck
hour and a
outta
half.
there.
There's nothing stopping us.
It's also he's expressed that he's not like a gambling addict, right? So he's
Yeah,
not like
yeah,
God,
yeah.
He's
I
not
shit
that
on
into it.
dice. Like I
I'm-
have to.
This is just an even trade.
There
All
are
right, I
characters
understand
like
now.
that. Some of the characters actually on that list of people who gambled are like I like marked out if you'd ever talk to them, they're like degenerate gamblers, and you could have
So-
forced them into rolling stuff. But he's more like making a deal with you.
So my understanding was this: we would actually gamble. If I won, I would win the body, and then I would gamble for more bodies. So
Okay. Well, what kind of
given how this is more of like a straight exchange, I would like to increase my pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
What?
the
what else were we
negotiation
supposed to
set.
get?
You would like to try to get more. What do you say?
One body might not be enough. I'm not as experienced as you, and I could fuck this up monumentally. Perhaps 2 bodies might be a sufficient exchange. I'm willing to give more information if you think that is necessary.
2. And what would this second body be?
You did say that on my natural 20 perception check when I was first observing, I did notice a tiefling in here.
Oh yeah, what the fuck's up with that? Wait, is that the...
Oobtaglor-
Oh
Is that
shit!
the
Oobtaglor would not necessarily know the relevance of it, but I am choosing to understand that by you pointing out and describing that, Oobtaglor notices that as odd.
I think that my assumption is that Ingrid has shared something of... I know Ingrid has kept a lot of the clues secret, but that...
At some point, I gave you the spiel about the former detective office, because when you joined the agency, I gotta be like, look, the lease is in a bit of a limbo status. I have taken on the mortgage, but it's a bit of it's a grey area, because the former person sort of just, left it, and we had to move a bunch of their stuff out, and presumably that included, a photo of the detective on their license or whatever. So you should have an image of what they look like vaguely, and, the idea. Yeah.
I'll be
And you're a
honest,
good
I did not
investigator
make
as
that
well.
connection until now. I was like,
I think...
oh, what?
I've been sitting here for the last 45 minutes thinking, how can I possibly spin this so that I also get to learn the information that Ingrid wants to know? So thank you, Noir,
I
for
know,
being
I
on
apologize. Thank you, everyone who's been patiently waiting as Oobtaglor.
Oh, it's good. I've just been drawing
love
up my
this.
next character for when
This
this all
is
goes
awesome.
sideways.
I'm not waiting. I am actively panicking.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, Olivia, if Nix wants to interrupt to do anything, please interrupt me to let me know. But,
No, I'm good.
yes, Oobtaglor, my assumption is that with the knowledge you have and the fact that you're already partially investigator, this stands out to you, maybe not with certainty, but something that is worth pursuing.
That's enough for Oobtaglor. So they will point out that body, the tiefling.
Okay. So specific. You've already done your window shopping. Very well. 2 specific bodies of your choice. If you bring me the information that I've asked for, you receive 1. To receive 2, I would like you to bring me Esteban. He need not be dead. In fact, not dead is preferable. But if that is the only way to manage his bulk, I am sympathetic.
You've got a deal.
Very well. I shall see you within 24 hours, Oobtaglor Burr.
Can I exit the normal way instead of flying back out the window?
Mind the stairs.
All right.
Oh, and do remember, I have eyes everywhere, scooping up the dead bodies of this city. If this is a ploy to turn against me, trust I shall learn in time, and you may find yourself among those bodies. Take care.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way to the door. I'm gonna hold it open long enough for Nix to get the fuck out, and then I will follow
I am
through.
not going to ask for another stealth check, successfully hiding the first time, and against the emotional reaction, you are sufficiently hidden, and I would say even Nix, perhaps you spot the opportunity on the final warning to sneak out the door and into the stairwell, and then Oobtaglor follows behind you, and the doors behind you shut.
Beautiful.
How you doing? Come on, let's get out of
Can
here.
we get out of here? Okay.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, you make your way back down. People look at you questioningly on the way out. Actually, I think that last we left it, Nix looked like a white.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a manager.
So actually, it's really not that strange at all. You're able to make your way back out through the gate and find waiting nearby. I assume that Ingrid and Bileyg have been close by,
Yes.
but perhaps just
I've
slightly
been
out
trying
of
to
the way of
convince
the gate.
Bileyg for the past 10 minutes that we should try and sneak in by jumping in one of the carts of dead people and make our way up. Look, I'm just saying that you're very small, so it'd be very easy to hide you in one of those piles. All we have to do is,
back.
oh, thank God.
Ingrid, I glow and I clank.
We'll
There's
put
only
you
so
under a
stealthy I
lot
can
of
be.
Bodies, it won't be a problem.
I've got other problems with that. It's getting a little Joey Wheeler today. Sorry, gotta lower the register a little.
I'll give the cage. I'll give the cage to Nix to free Manny.
I immediately undo whatever latch is there and take Manny out and hold them very, very close to my chest.
So,
just like, I'm
you
sorry.
undo the little
I'm
lock
sorry.
on the top. Make a dexterity saving throw. No, I'm just kidding.
It's got like a poison needle trap. Your fucking tomb of horror.
I was thinking more.
It's trapped. No.
What's the glyph of warding? But
Oh,
I was thinking more glyph
I
of
thought
warding.
honestly
does not
just
want
now.
this rat out of this cage.
I thought, to be honest, when you said that, I thought you were gonna say, Manny is mad at you and tries to run away.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Manny
I'm
would
sorry
never
I sent
be.
you in there. I'm sorry.
I believe you
That
also
was
have
so
a rat
scary.
of mine that went on this little adventure.
Yes, here,
Oh, thank God.
here. They were fine the whole time.
Good.
I look at Oobtaglor and I'm just like, you were incredible. How did you do that? I was so scared. I don't know how you just talk to them. That was...
Oh, you know
He
me,
was
professional
incredible.
yapper. I just run my mouth and sometimes it sticks.
I
Um,
still am wrapping my brain around how we got out of there, but I just want to say thank you.
how did you get out of there out of
Thank you.
curiosity?
So did you not find the body?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Oh, well, we found the body.
Uh-huh.
I think I might have found the previous owner of the
I
investigation.
had a hunch they might
Oh,
be about
so-
here.
Oh, in the morgue. That's bad.
Well, I did get all their stuff from the dead bookers, so I'm not too surprised the thing the stuff was on is here. But good to confirm that it's up in the upper ranks.
In fairness, I did not check their body, but I found Nil, and it was clear that something was up with them. I think we're on the money that their soul was taken, and yeah.
Interesting.
Now we have to get information, though.
Oh, well,
Oh,
That
what kind of
I
information?
probably can get it.
yeah.
It's basically why the Planar Trade Consortium even wants the Chronosphere.
Ah.
And I do know that it is a very, very, very high ticket item right now for them, and on the more personal side for Esteban. So, like, it is kind of a big deal, but I don't. Can I make an insight? Having spent a lot of time around, specifically Zaro and a little bit Esteban, can I draw any conclusions on why, or was that my check earlier?
On why what? On why
On
Esteban
why
wants
he wants it really badly.
it? No, your check is that he does want it really bad, and without knowing what it does.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do we have any information about what the Chronosphere does beyond that? It's probably something to do with time, given the
Yeah.
name.
I had you guys roll at the very start of this season regarding the Chronosphere, and I think that the best you got was like, we're not even really sure what it is. We bet it's an orb.
Roll back the tapes.
I think someone suggested it might be a timepiece. I don't quite remember. I might have a list of things it could have been. Hold on.
It's orb, it's time. It's a way in and out of the loop. Who knows?
I'm ready to ponder this bitch.
That it was perhaps it was a sphere of precise magical construction. That it might have actually been like an incantation or like a phrase or something, or that it's like literally like a person or something like that. There was a whole bunch of things that you guys were like, I have no idea. Like, I've kind of heard tell that there was like this once upon a time there was this big deal.
Well, if Esteban wants it, it's probably shiny and chrome, you know? It's all glittery and covered in gold or something. They like their riches.
I mean, yeah, but there was just something different about this thing, and the way that we were just talking about it, it seems like there is something really special about this thing that I didn't even consider.
Well, information is something that I think we can probably get our hands on. That's for Nil's body. Anything else about this deal that we should know?
About the what?
About the deal
deal.
that you just made?
Yes, for Did you ever give Laurel Lockwood's name?
I think it.
Or do I just know them as the...
I think he probably has come up at some point. Again, I
It's
imagine
still written
when
on the nameplate on
Oobtaglor-
Ingrid's desk.
There was stuff around the office as we've been cleaning it out that probably had some of his
It still says
information on
Scrooge
it.
and Marley on the outside of the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the tricky part. For Lockwood, we need Esteban himself. Dead or alive.
Interesting.
I'd like to do... I'm assuming we're walking. I assume
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
walking
Yeah.
on our way to
Yes.
Lothar the Old right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we're going to Lothar the Old.
Not to pry too deeply, because it seems like it was a rather upsetting experience, but you were in there for a really long time. Did something happen?
Are you talking to Oobtaglor?
I don't think you've explained that a Death Tyrant was there.
Oobtaglor, well, you guys knew what it... Ingrid knows what he was.
Well, the thing is, like,
Oobtaglor was not in there very long.
I had not
But
made the
Nix was.
connection that in the morgue means the Death Tyrant is there and you had to deal with him.
Oh, you know.
I think in my like Oobtaglor was amazing little bit. I gave like a little
Yeah.
rundown of like
Okay,
and
okay.
then he just came through the window like nothing and then just started having a casual conversation and like I think this is the most animated you've ever seen Nix. The adrenaline is like wearing off a little bit and it's just
Yeah.
like a manic high of like holy shit we could have died.
Okay.
This is
All right, I think...
This is all rather sweet, but I do think we should address the job at hand then. It seems that we've got 3 possible goals. Go to get the stone with your sibling's soul in it is one, for sure. But in order to get the body to put that soul into, we do have to get certain kind of information that I don't think we currently have. So we might want to think about dividing and conquering. I'd also like to circle back to the Esteban thing, because I would like to get the body of the former owner, but I don't know that I want to blow up our working relationship with the Planet Trade Consortium.
I mean, you know, they love to say it. Oh, at this job, you know, we're a family, which, no, I'm not on board with that, but I would feel a little bad. They pay my bills. I don't know that I just want to give up my boss. I mean, like, yeah, they're not great, but
Well, I
who
would be
is
very...
this person that we're getting? Who's this other body? That was a curveball, honestly, when you brought that
the
up.
detective agency that we work at was formerly owned by someone else, and I hired him to find some lost pearls for me,
Yes.
and he went mysteriously missing. So it's not a super active case or anything, but it would be nice to know if someone in the city has been taking out detectives, as it were, given our line of work.
I'm
Fair.
curious, if Esteban has been using the Planar Trade Consortium in pursuit of something that turns out to be a personal goal, I'd be very interested in learning why he's so invested in this thing, what it does, what he might want to do with it.
Yes.
Because...
I have no qualms about the information part of the deal. It's the literally walking somebody into the lair of a death tyrant that I'm a bit wary on. I just think it'd be good for us
Honestly-
to consider the...
Presumably to their death.
Yes.
You know, that kind of depends on why he wants it, if I'm being completely honest.
I suppose, but let's
I-
maybe go about this with a delicate hand. I'd also
Yeah,
like to
definitely.
maintain, even if we do somehow get the big boss of the trade consortium walking into the lair of a death tyrant to their presumed death, if there's any way for us to do that and make sure that our good pals are still in charge there and that we can still access all the services and goods and jobs, that'd be pretty nice.
I mean,
If I'm
He's never gonna
being
walk
honest,
in
I
there, by
don't
the
think
way.
that he's
I
gonna
know.
go in there at all. He's a recluse. Like
How about-
he does not.
What kind of creature is Esteban again?
Isn't he like a giant
As
or
far as
something?
an owner, an ogre. He's an
ogre.
ogre.
how about we do one thing at a time? And I know we normally do this, but I'm going to recommend that we don't split up any more than we already have tonight. It feels like it's only ended poorly.
Well, I mean, yes, I do agree. I don't think we should split up. I think that I personally would like to do both of these things. I don't want to miss out on either of the things. And also, it actually went really. I just can't get over how good it just went. Like I'm just like, hi guys, I can't. We were dead.
All right, breathe, kiddo, breathe. Oobtaglor, that was very good work. But the next time you go rushing in, I hope you'll let us back you up at least.
Well, forgive me. I did not have much confidence that I would actually exit out of there.
Well, the more reason
what?
to bring
All
back
right,
up
that's
next
worse.
time. Okay, we could
Yeah,
sit here
that's
and
all right.
quibble about the logistics of getting in and out of the Death Tyrant's lair more and more incrementally. Perhaps a to-do list of sorts? What do we feel like is the most accomplishable thing? And let's do that first.
Yeah, how's everyone feeling? I feel like we could probably get a rock off an old guy tonight, but then maybe we all
Let's
need to take a little
just
bit of a
go.
nap.
Let's just go get a soul and then go take a nap.
All right.
All right, kids.
I
Late
don't
night
want to
coffee
put my
time.
DM finger on the scale here, but one of these things does have a time limit,
Yeah.
and the other doesn't.
24
And I know you
hours.
keep
Good point.
saying, let's go to the old guy.
Not for nothing,
Which is, listen, he is less dangerous than Maroth, absolutely.
But he's
But
not.
is he less dangerous than Esteban?
but he's also going to still be there after 24 hours.
Good question.
Yes, he is going to be there after 24 hours. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, he's old. Old
You're
people
right.
do things slow.
you're right.
Perhaps
Let's
the information
go to
first, because that feels like the most accomplishable thing.
All right.
Well, for that, we could go straight to Esteban himself,
I
try
could,
and
yeah,
weasel
I mean,
an answer out of him, which, I don't know, he seems rather... If we can get an audience, that's one thing. Maybe Akeen knows something?
how or Lazaro?
Yeah.
Or Lazaro.
Ooh.
How often have I seen Esteban?
Not very often.
Yeah.
If you're going to want to get his attention, it's totally something that has happened, but you almost always deal with Lazaro. If you want to see Esteban, you're going to need to come up with a plan to get Esteban.
Oh my gosh,
to
we've
see him or
uncovered
to
new
do
information
something,
relating to the crash of the Concorde Express. We simply must speak to its owner immediately, or it could come at an enormous cost to the Planar Trade Consortium should this information get out. We've got ways to get a meeting with Esteban, but I do think it'd be good for us to start lower down the totem pole before we go crashing in.
Agreed. Oh, and I can just be myself for this one, and I switch back into my change.
Honestly.
You're talking to a scary ass undead
That last form felt
heavy metal
weird.
looking
Like, it was-
motherfucker.
Yeah, it was a little
Album
too
cover.
like bony and like a little. Yeah, it didn't feel right.
I could never imagine being that tall.
It's strange.
Okay.
It seems that we're going to be
All
doing
right, so what would you
Consortium.
like to do?
I think we're going to go directly meet with our little second-in-command contact at the Planar Trade Consortium and see if we can't get
I have-
things out of him first.
I have a question for the more socially conscious of the party. The Planar Trade Consortium seems a little bit less cutthroat than some of the organizations we've dealt with in Sigil. But do we think Lazaro could potentially want Esteban's job?
I think it's certainly possible. I don't
right.
know that it'd be...
Do I?
Yeah, this is a good question for Nix.
Yeah. Would I get that sense that he's at?
Roll an insight check.
Insight? Yeah.
I love getting other people to roll my insight checks for me in this campaign. It's such a refreshing change of pace.
Natural 20.
Yeah! We need a
he
social
want that
security number.
Does he want that job?
So interestingly enough, Lazaro does this out of devotion and love for Esteban.
Oh, fuck.
He is perhaps not coincidentally one of the few non-cutthroat high-ranking people of the Planar Trade Consortium.
It really is a family.
There is a deep amount of trust between he and Esteban.
Perhaps we
Right.
could play that to our advantage, approach Lazaro out of concern for Esteban. I mean, certainly whatever this interest in the sphere is, it's causing him to be in the sights of some rather powerful and cutthroat individuals. And if he wants to protect his boss, it might be best to have us, the dedicated inspectors who have protected the organization many times before, be in the loop of why you really want the artifact and be able to keep better tabs on it, as it were.
Yeah, I suppose the benefit of this is it's possible Lazaro knows why Esteban wants it, or can
Exactly.
at least guess.
Point us in the right direction.
About bringing Esteban. Not that this is such. I know there was a second part of this deal that seems very important to you guys, and you guys have helped me so much, and I just would feel really bad if I didn't try In my brain, I'm just doing some justification, which is I have to do often. If there was a situation where we said that you could get, like, Esteban could get the chronosphere, but he has to go himself to Maroth to get it, and like no other way could we get it, like he has to go get it. I guess we could like plant some kind of idea there. And I don't know if that would help, but like I would feel better just being like, just go, and whatever happens, that's, I'm detached from that result. I just told him where to go.
It's as fine.
I don't think that would fly so much, but
it's a fine.
I mean, Ingrid, I'm not going to make your decisions for you. This is a gentleman who's rather important to you, but I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable sending a man to his death.
I've been sort of
on behalf of someone who's already dead.
Grappling with that
They're
myself.
very powerful. There's there's no guarantee that we're sending him to his death. We're sending him to go get an item he really wants. If he dies getting it, that's, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying this is how you guys would get what you want, and I would like that for you.
I was anti the murder house that keeps eating Sigel's ne'er-do-wells. I feel like this is getting into murder house territory. I don't want to undersell it. Oobtaglor, I greatly appreciate that you made a deal that could potentially include the information about our former detective, and I'm certainly interested in the body of Lord Lockwood and what clues may be on it as to what happened to him and what happened to the case that he was investigating, although I'm starting to put together, I think, something of a picture of that myself. But I don't know that I'm willing to sacrifice someone who's done nothing wrong, necessarily. It feels like that would not really be...
Well, he's a capitalist.
I mean, he's a capitalist, yes, and,
nothing exceptionally wrong.
Yeah,
in terms of like direct murder, right?
Well, yeah, I guess I did most of
Nix
that.
to
So
murder a lot of people.
I guess you're right there. He didn't do it. He just
can I have roll an insight check, actually?
Insight check? Why, certainly, boss. Okay, come here, you.
I also don't know if it's worth, like, blowing up our business relationship with the Planet Trade Consortium for maybe information that we didn't have prior. It's just a lot of risk.
7. That metal die is not working for me.
On a 7, here's the thought I think that maybe passes through Bileyg's head.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the truth.
Like, for Maroth? Like, we tell Maroth the truth, or...?
The other way.
We tell... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We tell... either
Esteban
Lazaro
the truth.
or Esteban the truth of... It's there.
Suppose... if he was walking in with open eyes... couldn't find an objection, but... I think... the more information we all have, the better chance we stand of getting what we need out of this.
I do think the starting point for all of this, as we're talking and walking towards the Planet Trade Consortium offices, is that we need to find out, above all else, the motivations of Esteban, and once we do, perhaps we can adjust the plan from there as to whether or not it's going to include walking him into the Death Tyrant's lair.
We gotta find a better way to say that.
Taking a lovely vacation to a bit of an undiscovered part of town. I don't know, we'll find it in the moment.
No, we just have to tell him. It depends on how much he needs this, and how far he's willing to go, and perhaps who he needs this for.
Again, though, I do feel like the information is the tantamount thing, right?
I think we just get the information and then, yeah, I think we just need the information first.
Well,
okay.
Let's see what we can
So
find.
you would like to go try to speak to Esteban?
Yes.
Or Lazaro.
Let's go to Lazaro first.
But
Okay,
yeah.
well, yeah, so
I assume
you
the
don't
two
have
of
a
them
way
are in
to
the same
directly
spot.
contact
We have
Esteban,
to,
but you
yeah.
can directly contact Lazaro. And
Yes.
little improv here, how, when you feel like, so usually Lazaro contacts you, Nix, but I believe you would certainly have a way to contact Lazaro if, like, important information came through the grapevine to you, or if, like, you learn something new from an old job, that kind of situation, there is a way that you would contact Lazaro. What thing do you do to, like, do you leave something somewhere? Do you have some sort of message system set up? How do you get in contact and be like, we need to talk?
I think there is a spot that they meet at, and in order to give the signal, why did this just come into my brain? Yeah, this is what it is. It's like tubing that like can go underground and everything, like in pipes and everything. There's like one tubing that it's a pneumatic tube, and she just drops in a little message of "meet me here" and then sends it up the tube.
It's the ultimate spy gadget.
Understood. At the headquarters of the Planar Trade Consortium in the Market Ward, there are many gutters and things to keep the occasional rain that happens and washes out Sigil from, flooding the building. And yes, you do know that one of them is enchanted. You're probably not the only person who uses it. It is a drop-off for Lazaro. You're probably not the only person who knows about it and uses it, but it is a way to contact him directly. And so you leave whatever code it is you use to let him know. And where do you meet? Because he would not want to meet on Planar Trade Consortium grounds. He would want to meet on your turf. So does that mean in the sewers, or are you asking him to come to the agency to open and shut investigations, or is there some third location that you think would be
I guess I would
spot?
ask Ingrid. Ingrid, do you feel comfortable it being at the office, or would you rather us? I have a couple of burner spots.
Oh, I mean,
that
he
we can
knows where our
also-
office is. It's he's got several of our cards at this point, so it's fine if you want to meet at the office. I'd like to not go in the
Okay,
sewers
I'll tell him
again.
that.
I've had to buy like 10 pairs of boots this month, and it's getting
What's wrong
old.
with the sewers?
There's just a lot of slime down there.
They make some
What's wrong with
really
slime?
good galoshes, though. I tell you, you can just pull them up all the way over, and then you can be knee deep in the muck, and you barely even feel
It's
it.
very important to me that I
Galoshes.
maintain the height
What a
that my
made-up word.
heels give me.
I wonder
would-
if they have heel galoshes.
I would never demean your style, but you could also simply not wear something with a heel in the sewer.
Perhaps I'm too vain, but the sewers keep finding their way to me. I don't dress intending to go down into them. Anyway, yes, the office is fine. We can meet there.
What's
All
wrong
right.
with the sewers?
What's the deal?
What's up with the sewers?
They play a very important part in the workings of Sigil. And they
Yeah,
do
the
their
real
job.
question is, where do they go? Because, they don't let out somewhere. They just kind of go down, down, down.
There's like a dead
Anyway.
plane of just poop, and they all
Well, that's
feed into
basically
it.
what people mostly assume, that there must be a portal to the plane of slime down there, and it just dumps out in
the grossest
the
plane
intersection
in the
between the
state.
plane of water and the plane of earth.
Oh, but
which
think
is
of
the
all the
plane-
jewelry
plane
that's
of
gotten
ooze.
washed down there. It's the plane of slime and also lost shiny things.
I really hope my pearls aren't down there.
Finale for this campaign is you guys have to go to the plane of goop to go get
Oobtaglor Scopin comes back to guide us to the plane of goop.
Oobtaglor just becomes like I'm thinking of like Sandman going to the beach. Becomes like
Aw.
Austin's really
Just
doing the
enormous.
long con vengeance for all the goop Danny picked up last campaign.
Goop is the arch nemesis.
You
All
were
right,
really
I gotta
asking
steer
for
us on
trouble by
track.
going from the goop character to the goopaverse character. It's a real hairpin turn.
Anyway, so you drop your regular notice, but with the amendment about meeting at the offices, and you head back. The hours tick by. 4 after peak, 5 after peak, 6 after peak. Darkness begins to fall when the familiar Dragonborn enters through the door, all business, and without asking, which is his normal polite move, sits in the chair across from Ingrid and whoever else I suppose is waiting there.
All of us, I assume.
I am sitting on Ingrid's desk.
I've been
Well,
doing
these
this thing
days,
where
I
you
have-
Why?
you brew the coffee pot with
God.
coffee instead of water. Look, desperate
The fuck?
times, all right.
Oh my.
The trick I learned from my Uncle Chuck for when
Everyone
the
rolls
late
an
nights
extra
keep
hit die.
going.
Everyone can remove a level of exhaustion, but you take necrotic damage.
A brew so potent it gives you temporary hit
Oh, God.
points.
Fantastic. All right.
The espresso.
Good evening. I have received your message. What is so pressing?
Thank
Has new information come to light on the case?
Well, in a matter of speaking, Now, as you know, our specialty is gathering information, so it should come as no surprise that in our dealings with several powerful factions, we keep ears open for information about those we've worked with before. In the course of our investigations, it's come to our attention that your boss, Esteban, may be interested in an object known as the chronosphere, and we're concerned that particular interest is placing quite the target on their back. Now, I can't give too many details, but really that's just because we don't have many ourselves, other than it is a constant source of danger for just about every powerful faction in Sigil. Do you have any thoughts on why Esteban might want this, so that we could either help redirect their attention to get some of this fire off their back, or perhaps at the very least, I don't know, begin looking into it ourselves so that we could help the Planar Trade Consortium get their hands on it? It's rather concerning that it keeps cropping up, and I fear that, well, you've been very loyal clients of ours. We are inclined to help you if we can.
First, you are employees of ours. We are not clients of yours. Keep in mind the power dynamic. Second, you call me here with information to tell me that one of the most powerful and influential and wealthy citizens of Sigil is under threat by various enemies whom you cannot share any information with me regarding, and then you demand information from me?
We can share information about him.
Yeah, demand feels like a strong word.
You just said that you do not know all the details on this person who threatens Esteban's life, and yet you call me down here and you demand information from me. That is not the direction that information moves in this relationship.
Hey, boss, can I make an insight check?
Yes, please.
He seems tremendously defensive for a simple conversation.
I also would like to make an insight check.
Please.
Oh my god, 9. At least it's higher than last time.
You're moving up.
I'm
15.
I'm incrementing, yeah.
15? Yeah, 15, so you called him down here, which is usually a big he's a very busy person, usually a sign of something really important, to tell him that you guys know it's the chronosphere of Lagos, a thing that Nix already knew, so it's not that surprising you would know about it. That you know he wants it, a thing you guys would also know because he's asked you to find out where it is. And then told him that various parties that you don't know who they are and you can't share with him threaten his life. And basically Lazaro was like, you guys just wasted my time. You told me that you're great detectives. You made it sound like we're your clients, but you're actually our employees. That's the way this power dynamic goes. And you called me down here to let me know that someone who definitely has a lot of enemies has enemies that you've heard might be out there, and you have learned no information that is new, which makes me think you're bad detectives. Like, being so cagey in that introduction completely set him off and made him very unhappy. His patience score has gone down, so to speak.
Oh, great.
Oh, I forgot about this
So
patience
if you
mechanic
want to,
thing.
I'm not actually rolling. It's not a mechanic here. Just role playing it out.
Gotcha.
If you want to salvage this interaction, you're going to have to give him something.
We gotta give him
assuaging. You know, you're gonna have to temper his temper a little bit.
All right, so we have reason to believe that Maroth knows that your boss is after the chronosphere, and perhaps has some inkling why, though we don't, and that's the problem we're currently dealing with. And Maroth wants your boss very badly, more than we thought. You're correct, we knew something about this going into it. We, of course, knew about the wager. We knew who walked away with the chronosphere. We don't know what that is, and nobody's been inclined to tell us, and there's only so much we can do with limited information.
Go ahead, make me a persuasion check.
Oh god, don't make me roll things, man.
You got it. Just don't give me little
I
thing.
have such a
Next
high charisma
campaign,
score, but it doesn't
freeform
matter.
improv. No dice mechanics.
Next campaign, I'm just
can I
making all the
assist?
enemies roll saving throws against my abilities. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, this
maybe I don't
die
need
is
to.
really fucking hard to read. It's either a 61 or a 19. I think I know which one it is, so that's 25.
25.
Or 66,
No, I think it's
but
a
I think it's a
61.
25.
I think it's a 61.
Could be 60. Okay, 25.
Yeah. Honesty!
On a 20
My 7 insight check is guiding me through!
On a 25... Well, hey, it's not even totally honest. Like, you guys, you didn't tell him that you've been sent to it, whatever.
Well, we didn't tell him we've been sent to get him.
Revealing more information, being partially honest. Sorry. Being partially honest. You see, bringing up Maroth, and that Maroth knows and cares, clearly distresses him. And the first... We're going to carry that 25 forward. But the first thing he's going to react with is... How did you come to this information that the leader of the Mortuary has turned his attentions to Esteban?
Just gonna nod at Oobtaglor.
I suppose us saying we're very good investigators won't cut it, will it?
I'm going to allow... What... Is that what you say? Do you want to say anything more or less? With a 25 persuasion, you guys have gotten back on track on this conversation. So, obviously, I'm not expecting you necessarily to reveal the truth. If you want to come up with a lie or just be cryptic, you can. But what do you want to say here? Or do you just want to stick with...
I assume this was directed at
I
Noir.
suppose good investigators would cut
I
it.
was thinking...
Let him cook.
Sorry.
Investigations in an unrelated case led us to Maroth, and we were able to extract information out of him, both relating to the case that we are working on, as well as additional information regarding the chronosphere of Lagos, and Maroth's interest in your supervisor.
Have you spoken with him?
What, like it's hard? No, I don't say that. I don't say that. I take this seriously.
Hey, no,
I take this seriously.
extremely impressed.
Yeah.
I pipe up. I'm like, Lazaro, I witnessed it. They're very, very good.
All right. He turns back, and on that carrying forward your 25 red. Now that he's satisfied his how did you learn this information? He says, many things about the chronosphere are shrouded in mystery, including what it even looks like. Only those who have laid eyes upon it, which is very few, have ever known. But what it is strongly believed by Esteban, and I suspect also by Maroth, if his interest is as strong in it as it seems, the person who holds the chronosphere of Lagos is beyond the reach of death. So they say. It is a means to naturally extend life indefinitely, remain away from death and away from undeath.
Is Esteban particularly concerned with his own mortality?
Can I make an
No,
insight
I
on
feel like
that,
this could be
knowing
like a
what,
Mr. Freeze and his wife situation, you know?
I was I
Yeah.
have been dancing around the idea of what loved one does Esteban want this thing for,
Yeah.
but I want to get there one step at a time.
Yeah.
No, you got Esteban just
Let
has
the
cancer.
tales-
It's really serious.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
terminal.
Bleak. Sorry, someone wanted to roll a check?
Yeah, can I make an insight on like on
Please.
what Lazaro just said with now my knowledge of Esteban? That is what is my insight? A 17.
Woo!
Okay. I think that Bileyg's mind goes to what loved one is Esteban trying to save.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, that would be a great motivator for anyone to go to such lengths. But you know Esteban. Not well, but you could probably count on one hand the number of people who know him well. And you've never taken him for someone who has close loved ones. People he trusts, perhaps. But not loved ones.
Not alive loved ones. Huh?
You don't believe... Maybe it crosses your mind, up to you. But you don't ultimately believe that he has some secret altruistic reason to want the chronosphere. And indeed, Lazaro says, Estevan is rich in many things. Time is the one thing he cannot obtain more of, as is true for all of us. He wishes to not be beholden to such limitations. Nix, you think that ultimately this is a selfish man who wants it for himself?
He just wants to live more to keep doing what he's been doing?
Yeah. He wants forever to keep letting his little kingdom grow.
Yeah.
If he had to die, it would have to be finite, and that would not satisfy his greed.
Yeah.
That's quite a small motivation to turn the entire Planar Trade Consortium on it.
Estevan is the Planar Trade Consortium, and vice versa. You said that you have perhaps a lead on where it is. Do you think it would be possible for you to obtain?
Not us.
For us to obtain.
The chronosphere.
Oobtaglor, I believe, specifically said, like, we learned a little bit about the chronosphere. So he's like, did you learn where it is? Like, you talked to Maroth. Like, did you learn where it is? Like, he's, like, really you've dangled the big gold prize in front of him. And he's like, can we get that? Can we do it?
This would be quite a way for him to march into Maroth's lair.
I'm so tempted to say, not without Estevan.
I literally, I was like, we couldn't.
In this moment, I'm actually going to ask the play. Your psychic thing has gone. I'm going to ask the players not to discuss. What happens next. I'm going to ask for you to speak in character, because there's no way for you to communicate this many complex thoughts to each other with Lazaro in the room. So someone will have to make.
Yeah. All right. Well, sound off. Bileyg doesn't know where the chronosphere is and would defer to Oobtaglor being the person who spoke to Maroth and potentially like I don't think Bileyg knows everything that went down there. So it's like, well, maybe they spotted it. I don't know.
I give a little nod to Oobtaglor about, like, I did say earlier that I'd be okay with this plan. So I think it's like a...
Does Ingrid give anything?
I don't think Ingrid looks at Oobtaglor at all. I think she's thinking if you look over her direction.
Unfortunately, the conversation did not extend that far.
Okay. Shame. But you do suspect that he has his eyes set on Estevan, and that Estevan's past interest makes him a current target.
Yes, it would seem that many of the players in that game over the Fortune's Wheel are highest priority on the list of interests of Maroth, especially given the proximity to the chronosphere, and as we know, our collective boss is rather good at getting what he wants. I suspect that game was not the last attempt to get the sphere, so if nothing else from this meeting, consider it an extreme warning of caution in any sort of further dealings. The dead have eyes all over the city.
Yeah, and I believe Estevan trusts you, and I think you want what's best for him. So I'd think long and hard about whether or not this pursuit is good for him in the long term. Or the longer term, as the case may be.
I have an understanding, yes. I will speak with him plainly. I cannot speak to what he will want, other than to say we will have security increased for him, and as well, if you learn any other information, such as what they plan to do with him, or where the chronosphere may be, please let us know, because there will be reward in it for you.
Happy to provide the information. It is why you keep us on retainer, after all.
He stands up, straightens a tie. I apologize for my outburst earlier. That was unprofessional. Thank you for calling me down here. It was of great importance, I see. Lazaro stands to leave. Does anyone else want to say anything before he goes?
Take a tea biscuit for the road.
Can I walk out with him?
Yeah, you escort him out. He holds the door for you.
I don't presume to know the intricacies of all that you and Esteban do. I've made it a point to not ask.
Your discretion is appreciated. It is why you are so closely trusted.
Thank you. I do. It gives me pause knowing that Esteban is very invested in obtaining priceless treasures, and I know you care about him in whatever capacity. Isn't something more valuable if it's limited? Wouldn't that make living forever kind of worthless?
The greatest treasure would be one which is limited for all else and unlimited for yourself.
I stand corrected. I'm so sorry that I even... It's dangerous in there. I've seen them. I don't think this one's worth it. And
Your
I just
concern
turn
is
quickly
noted.
and I leave. Thank you.
Goodbye. All right.
Oh my gosh, Oobtaglor, I'm so glad we were on the same page.
I wasn't. I was
I was
ready
at a
to...
crossroads, and there was like two paths I could have taken.
Yes, I'm genuinely,
and-
and I mean this with all of the love in my heart. I'm
You
very,
guys are
I'm very,
investigators.
very
You could
proud
have
of
figured
you.
it out.
You're a good ooze and a good friend. Perhaps there is a different deal we can reach for some investigation into Laurel's body, but at the time, I think our primary concern should be getting Nix their sibling back.
Just to be
Yes,
clear,
please.
is this information, like, gonna be good enough for Maroth?
Good enough?
I feel like we could have assumed that, like, oh, he probably wants the chronosphere because it... I suppose we didn't know it made you immortal.
I'm not.
I suppose that is information.
Not to posit what the great and wise Meremoth may or may not know, but it does occur to me that perhaps he doesn't know what the chronosphere does. Or, at the very least, doesn't know how much other people know about what it does. There's a lot of moving parts here, and as far as I can tell, we've definitely held up our end of the wager, as it were.
We did
I'm sure I can
find out
zhuzh it up to
why.
make it seem valuable.
Yes.
I'd be cautious with that, but
Perhaps
you know
what is
No,
most
I trust your
valuable is that we
zhuzhability.
know it is for Esteban and not for any other person. He's not a middleman. He is selfishly invested. That does change the logic of how you would go about to get something, after all.
I think also there's an aspect of if I'm the only one that has it. It is incredibly selfish to the point of I don't know, kind of disrespectful to the
Yes.
tyrant of death.
It does occur
like a
that
little...
wanting to stay alive forever does sort of fly in the face of everything Merengos about.
I mean, there are forms of immortality. You know, there's angels, there's
Staying on the astral
death,
sea, presumably
my
forever.
wife.
Oh, your wife?
Just saying, there's... Oh, yeah,
What?
no, don't even worry about it. I'm just saying, it's not... It actually won't just be him and nobody else. He'll just be in a rather different company. And a lot of them might not appreciate the use of well...
Sir.
I think, well, to speak to that, like in universe, Red, there are other beings that are ageless and immortal. There are fiends and celestials and things, and they can be killed. But there's nothing about what you learned about the chronosphere of Lagos that makes you think that they're like,
Unkillable.
you know, they couldn't be beheaded, right?
Right.
But like that, you know, you naturally live. It gives you eternal life naturally without having to use naturally with magic. But like when they say naturally, they mean without undeath, right? You don't have to become a lich.
Right.
What makes that special is that all these other beings that get to last forever, that can be killed but naturally will just stay around forever, they don't get free will. Angels from Mount Celestia have to be lawful good. And if they act out of character, they change what they are fundamentally. It's incredibly hard. They don't really get a choice about being lawful good. And devils don't get a choice about being lawful evil. And demons don't get a choice about being chaotic evil. That's what separates them from mortals like you guys, you know? That's why you can't play, even though, a barbed devil wouldn't be that powerful. You can't play a PC barbed devil because they don't have free will. Their souls are locked to a certain way of being that is locked to the world that their soul is, like, birthed from. That's the chain of events. And so he would be special because, again, apart from people who are undead, he would get to remain himself forever.
And in becoming a lich, don't you really lose the self, as it were? I mean, technically it's you
lose
under
your
there,
skin.
but...
So... You lose a lot of important bits, some would argue.
Well, they can't be that important if you can get along just fine without them.
It's an age-old debate
I don't know, I
in
bet a lot of them miss their
circles.
noses.
I think Nix is...
Look, I'm not advocating for lichdom, far from it.
I think
Just
Nix is
saying, there are
on to
less expensive
something
options.
with the whole domain of death guy not wanting anyone else to have the chronosphere. I feel like that is in the hierarchy of Sigel's factions. And I know a lot of you are rather young, you went around with a faction war and all, but people are very closely tied to their ideals and interests here in a way that they aren't in a lot of other cities. And it would be important for the guy who is in charge of all the dead bodies to continue to get dead bodies and not have someone so flagrantly flying in the face of what is normal and right to, the dead bookers.
It is a full affront.
Yes.
Like it is. I do think that Oobtaglor, if you are gonna judge, I would judge in the direction of this is kind of a spitting in your face and everything that you hold dear.
And it does occur to me that as Estevan ages, he'll have less and less to lose, and potentially more power over a growing planet trade consortium to potentially wage war. And Maroth has nothing but time, so this problem will come to his front doorstep eventually.
Well, good
I'll
thing his
figure
front
something
doorstep
out.
has a big-ass gate in front of it. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
are you going to the mortuary right now?
I believe it would be best for us to expeditiously deliver this information, but I would like to, rest of the crew. We do technically have to go get the soul
rest
as
first?
well.
We have 24 hours.
I think that the best thing we could do, honestly, is get the time limit off of our plate. The soul will still
I
be
would
there
appreciate
tomorrow. The bet, if we oversleep, could become an issue very quickly.
It's true. I know I'll sleep a lot better once we've got that not hanging over our head anymore.
Okay. Fantastic. So, you return. Yeah.
Just, I might have a plan, but I need information first. Will you allow me just a bit of time for me to gather said information?
Can we inquire as to what the plan is and what it's in?
If it doesn't work, then there's no use in telling you, but I'll...
Okay, I'm going to go back on the whole you ran away by yourself to talk to the Death Tyrant thing. I think actually you do need to tell us what your plan is.
Can we help?
Well, because you won't go for it.
Well, that's all the more reason to tell us.
So if you tell us the plan, we won't agree with it, and that's why you want to do it anyway.
Well, just tell me
Maybe,
the
I don't
plan
know. I
then.
really want to stick it to this guy.
Which guy? There's so many guys in play.
Maramoth!
I was so proud of
You wanna
Oobtaglor like
stick
5
it
minutes
to
ago,
that
and now
guy?
they want to stick it to a Death Tyrant.
Ingrid, it's
Okay,
important
wait,
to foster their
hey.
growth, all right?
Hey, let him cook. What's the plan?
I need to know more information first.
What information do you need?
Information on Death Tyrant specifically.
Okay. No. I need so many more details. And Oobtaglor, look into my eyes. Is it worth it?
It'll be cool! It'll be
Okay,
cool!
I need to.
DM,
I'd like
can
to
I roll some die to see
I'd
what
like
I know
to-
about Death Tyrants?
Yes, I want to put my hands on Oobtaglor's
He's so
shoulders.
cute.
Death Tyrant in front of them.
Oobtaglor, you know I'd never want to dull your sparkle, and I love that you have so many creative ideas, but I need to ask you something very, very important. Have you considered doing literally anything else?
anything else means that you're not going to get information on Lockwood.
I have some thoughts as to how we could get information on Lockwood, and fine. Ingrid will kick up the floorboard that hides her little conspiracy board. I have been collecting information as it stands. I mean, it would be helpful to see his body, but I don't know that they're going to get anything that his belongings didn't also have. I suspect what might be...
What do you mean? You wanted to find Lockwood, and he's right there! He's there! The body, it's there!
I always thought that board creaked funny.
The soul isn't, and I suspect that he may have fallen victim to a similar thing as our dear friend Nix's siblings, so perhaps...
Then we'll find that out when we get to Lothar the Old.
Exactly.
Is it Lothar?
Lothar.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Lothar.
And in the interim, not to assume, but I believe his body's not getting any deader.
Yes, I think that maybe we put a pin in it.
Wow.
Maroth's probably already beaten us to the punch on that.
I do think that there is a middle ground here, if I may.
Of course.
That we do go get the soul, and then maybe this person that you're interested in, maybe their soul is there too, and if their soul is there too, we just happen to be there, we'll pick that one up too, and then we head over, and then we have an incentive to get the body, and then maybe we'll have more information, and then, like I said, Oobtaglor was incredible. I have full faith that they could probably pull something out of their ooze.
I'm on board for
That's
the
pretty good.
also
That's pretty good.
taking Laurel's soul part if he's there, I presume. I didn't really know the man well. I really can't emphasize that enough. This is mostly a matter of pride more than anything else. But
And if his soul isn't there, there's not much good his body can do
yes,
us
then
on
he's
its own.
just
Exactly.
dead. How long do we think it'll take us to get the souls? Realistically.
I don't think we know that. I don't
I've
think we know
never
anything about
gotten the
Lothar.
soul before. I don't have a time. I wouldn't know.
Perhaps.
But I do have a soul bowl.
Well, okay. How much time do we have left? Like, it's...
We had to wait most of it
We went
down.
straight from
5
Maramon.
hours.
How
Yeah,
many?
like
5
4
hours.
hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
20
yeah.
hours left.
Oh.
Okay, we have 20 hours left. All I'm asking is that we get a good night's rest, don't oversleep, and then we'll figure it out.
I agree. I'm not drinking any of that double coffee. I just want to go to bed.
You
for a
guys
second.
can sleep before a big, stressful thing like this? I can never sleep before things like this.
I just don't sleep.
I'm tapped, Bileyg. I feel like we kind of have to. Especially if things go pear-shaped and we do have to fight our way out from Maramoth.
Oh, I was really
But I-
hoping that wasn't even an option.
I'm hoping it's not either, but I'd like to be prepared in the case that it does.
All right. We're sleeping here at the office. Bileyg, get the sleeping bags out of the supply closet. I'm setting
Aye,
a Meech, you're on the hard alarm. Wake us up after exactly 8 hours. And then we are going directly to Maramoth and turning over the information in order to end this wager. Agreed?
Works for me.
Excellent.
Fine.
Also, you
Agni
trance.
goes, "Ugh,
for
Yes,
4
I will
hours,
be
right?
sitting
I'm also
upwards
here.
in my chair, just like in my mind palace for 4 hours.
I'll make sure no one's loud on the street and disturbs you guys." And Agni goes outside and stands.
Remind me to
arms
give
crossed
him
in
a
front of
little
the
bit of
building.
a bonus next week. He's been very helpful lately.
He's a real good employee.
I know.
There's still something I don't trust about him.
Oh yeah, we never
Yeah, the real
determined what was
Calvinist
up
work
with
ethic.
Nope.
mystery forever.
The dwarf.
Yeah, I guess you're bad at investigating now. All right, so you guys are all taking a long rest.
Yep.
I would not say no to a long rest, baby.
All right, Noir.
No!
When Oobtaglor is confident that everyone is asleep or in a trance, they would like to sneak out.
Okay, fantastic. Roll me a stealth check. Everyone has whatever their passive perception is -5 for being asleep. So
And they'd like to do the stuff the sleeping bag with with other stuff to make it look like it's occupied.
I will
you just
forgo
sleep in a
long
pot.
rest.
You just pour water
I
in
would
it.
also be very
Yeah,
down
yeah,
to
yeah.
forego a long rest in order to have stayed up and
I will-
anticipating this.
What are you two participating in?
I said I would forgo a long rest if I can
No!
roll to see if I notice that they're
Yeah,
gone. That's all.
I'm gonna say that that's a little metagamey that none of you would
Fair.
assume
We wouldn't
Oobtaglor is
know.
sneaking away, so you would, unless you had some other good character reason for wanting to stay up all night, not recover your resources, and gain a level of exhaustion, which could be possible.
Triple
but
espresso.
I don't know what that would be.
Everyone
I'm
drank
going
the
to assume you
forbidden
all go to
coffee.
sleep. Wait, hold on. Ingrid is an elf.
I am. I go into
Yeah,
trance.
you trance.
For much less
Oh, that's
time.
true.
For
Which means
4
I
less
think that you're
hours.
aware. Well, I mean, you know,
Well,
Oobtaglor can
Warforged
tell when you're
are-
trancing
or
and not
Mechanites
trancing.
are
The
aware.
The 4 hours doesn't matter. The question is, are elves aware exactly? So give me one moment.
Species
let's
traits.
go-
I'm just trying to
Traits.
help
You don't need sleep,
Species.
but meditate semi-consciously for 4 hours a day. While meditating, you can dream after a fashion. Such dreams are actually mental exercises that have become reflexive through years of practice. After resting this way, you get the same benefit that a human does from 8 hours of sleep. So I am technically
Vulcan's
trancing.
so bad. Which I guess means your passive perception doesn't have that penalty?
During
does,
which you
though. It's a
retain
6 right now.
consciousness. During which you retain consciousness. So yes, I'm going to say that Ingrid is like, you know, pretty like still partially aware but kind of unaware. So it's still going to be just regular passive perception against. So your stealth against Ingrid's regular passive perception. Agni obviously wouldn't stop you at all. And then Bileyg and Nix, you both have -5 to your passive
No
perception.
chance I could argue that
I
I
have a
should do
question.
passive investigation
answer.
instead, right?
Yeah.
I have a
I'd try.
question.
Investigation is
I
actively
did-
trying to piece together things. Yes.
What's
Yeah.
up next?
I did say I don't trust Agni. Before I go to bed, can I tell Manny, keep an eye out? And then if Manny sees anything, Manny says to let me know.
I
That's
think Manny
smart,
would,
but
but Manny
boo.
would trust Oobtaglor implicitly now that Oobtaglor
Yeah.
rescued them from that cage.
Yes, but his allegiance is to me.
That's true.
He
I do
would
feel
let
like
me
his.
know.
What is
Let's
Manny's
double check what the
passive
cranium rat
perception?
intelligence is.
Yeah. dude,
What
dude,
is
dude,
Manny?
dude,
Yeah,
dude.
also
What is
Manny's passive
Manny's
perception is going to be
passive
worse than
perception?
Ingrid. So this might all be for nothing. Noir, go ahead and tell me
For
what
sure.
you rolled.
Whoops. That's con. 18.
Ah, damn it.
Okay.
What's my
In-
rat's passive?
It wouldn't have beat my passive
10.
investigation, but it does beat perception.
Oh,
Okay. So
My passive perception is currently a 6, so...
the good news is that you don't need to stand up and walk out the door. You can just flow across the ground,
Yeah.
incredibly out of sight, and exit. So,
like an animal.
where are you going?
I am.
You know what?
I
Actually,
sneak-
I'm going to go ahead and say that as you ooze out the door and into the Night of Sigil, everyone else unaware, that is where we're going to take our break, and we will pick back up with whatever solo adventure you are going on for the second time this episode.
All right.
We need another 45 minutes where everyone else gets to chill out.
I swear to God, it was short. We can do it before the break. It's short. It's just.
No, we'll pick up because it's dramatic, and then,
Yeah.
and it won't be long. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Alright.
we're
Sorry,
constructing
guys.
a
Just went to the
story
Rat Cafe
here.
to
Come
indulge
on,
in your
people.
secret pleasure. You only claim to hate it there.
Rolling with difficulty.
Were you ever in Model UN? Do you want to relive the rush of solving expansive issues collaboratively? Maybe wave a little flag? Then have we got the TTRPG for you. Model Our Nations is a Model UN-like game masterless TTRPG by Eric Silver from Join the Party, or as you may know him, Clancy Two Shots. In Model Our Nations, players inhabit the roles of representatives of powerful countries or entities, race to fill out a docket with projected ideas and motions, and play out the meeting as dictated by the motions of the docket. Best of all, there's a winner at the end. If you like world building and detailed character creators, this game is for you. With about 2 hours and 3 to 6 of your fellow representatives, you can accomplish great things. Model Our Nations works well as a standalone session or as part of a larger campaign, but to get an idea of how it plays for yourself, check out Join the Party for actual play episodes using the system. So what are you waiting for? Those motions won't file themselves. Go to the link in the description or bit.ly/ModelOurNations to get your copy of Model Our Nations today.
You know what's been great?
What's that?
Our guest Olivia. I mean, what a player. I still can't believe they faked us out like that.
I hear you, but it makes sense they could pull something sneaky off after all their quote-unquote criminal activity over on Rolls Untold.
Rolls Untold? What's that?
You haven't heard? Rolls Untold is where we borrowed Olivia from.
I should have taken a closer look at that resume. Sounds interesting. What's it about?
Rolls Untold posits a magical world on the brink of technological rediscovery, where 4 alleged criminals, including Olivia as Ismith Vordescent, band together to break out of a high-security prison. While on the lam, they find themselves caught in the midst of a plot to rid the world of magic altogether. Will they be able to save all of Arcana, or will this spell out the destruction of Galvira forever?
Ooh, perilous.
Perilous and exciting. It's worth checking out. I know I've enjoyed joining the cast of Rolls Untold as they try to save Galvira.
I might just have to join you in that watch party. Where can I check it out?
Season 1 of Rolls Untold is available on YouTube right now. And Season 2 is coming soon, so it's a great time to jump in.
Sounds like it. And I assume I can just go to the show notes below to check it out for myself?
Or direct from their YouTube channel, but you got the gist of it. Check out Rolls Untold Season 1, available now.
Rolling with difficulty.
And welcome back. When last we left our heroes, as all of you went to sleep, Oobtaglor, you find yourself on the dark, dirty streets of the lower ward at night. What do you do?
As I exit the agency, I just kind of give I give Agni just like a finger to the lips kind of motion.
He gives you a little salute.
All right. I would like to go and pay a visit to Alanka Puzzle Weaver.
All right. Not far from here, you cross the ditch, smelly and festering and bubbling, and return back to the bemused Bothy, I believe was the name of her lair. The crooked building that has gotten no less disheveled since you last were there. You step up onto the steps, ring the bell that hangs next to her door. I assume.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I thought you were describing
I realized
that as
that
what
I
do.
did not give an intonation as if that was a question, but
Yeah.
and the door, you hear no voice, but the door creaks open for you, and you find yourself standing in this hag's hut. Darker than you last remember. Last time there was still some daylight, if you could call it daylight. I guess daylight, not sunlight, peering through the curtained windows. There was still the light from the fire. Now there is only a distant glow from the embers and a single lantern that hangs and swings over this table that sits in the center of this room, sitting there with her, like a big knotted, fucked up knitted blanket over her shoulders and a a comically small cup of tea clutched in her long fingers. You see the hag Auntie Alanka Puzzle Weaver. Oh, well, if it isn't my favorite little slime. No
Hi,
gumshoe
Auntie.
friends today.
No, they hate you, so I figured I would come on my own.
Yes, I do have that effect on people. Could I pour you some tea?
No, this is, I'm afraid, a quick visit, Auntie Puzzle Weaver. I've come to make good on our transaction that we had some time ago.
Oh, excellent. I do like to make good on my deals.
I believe
What
it
is
was
it that I can
information
do
for
for-
information, correct?
Yes.
What can you tell me? Well, I would like to know about Death Tyrants. Do they have true sight among their many eyes?
Dreadful. Nasty. Terrible. Do they have true sight? Let's consult the tome, because
She just
Gino
pulls out
forgets
the D&D
things.
3.5 and 5th edition monster manuals from her library. Just like, oh,
Now,
interesting.
the thing you might not
CR30,
realize is that
you
Death
say?
Tyrant is actually under B for Beholder.
Okay.
That's a little pro tip for the folks at home.
That doesn't make me feel better about what's happening here.
They're just a type of Beholder. Hold on, let me double check as well. It's important to know I'm using 2 stat blocks here.
That makes me feel even worse.
You see, she, you say, do they have true sight? Ah! She scratches her head with one long finger, and you hear as a chunk of hair connected to scalp pulls out. She's holding it by the end. She glances at it. Then she dips the end in her tea and down the hatch.
Austin, you're fucking testing me
slurps
today.
the hair like spaghetti.
I was so
Testing
close to
me
not
today.
having to put a bunch of content warnings on this episode, and there we go.
I hate this lady so much. Everything she does makes her worse.
Do they have true sight? No. Surprisingly, their many eyes have many uses, but to see through illusions is not one of them.
Excellent.
Be careful, though. Many of them know magical tricks.
Oh, I'm sure. And this one that I'm thinking of is quite intelligent, so perhaps but
They always
an illusion
are.
does.
Though not as intelligent as they think.
Well, an illusion only needs to last for so long. Is there anything that I should know about their layers?
Question. Is this a Death Tyrant to be found here in our cage?
It is.
Ah. Then you should know that usually their lairs are tied to the ethereal, which does not border this world.
I see.
But they might have other tricks. As I said, they are intelligent.
I see. Well, that's all I came here for. I hope you have a good tea, Auntie. I'll be going now.
Oh, so quickly, you sure you don't even want a biscuit?
I said it was a
think
quick
the
visit.
roaches didn't get to some of them. She opens a tin and sort of shakes it.
I think I'll pass.
Suit yourself. I do miss you, and that homesick little knight of yours. Come by, say hello sometime.
Oobtaglor doesn't say anything, but they just exit.
I know you'll be back.
Okay.
The door behind you slams,
All right.
and
I would like
any
to...
light that was in there that you might have seen through the curtains just goes out.
Okay. I'd like to return to open and shut and go to bed, but before I do, I believe it's like 8 hours of downtime equals a long rest, two of which can be done like with
Correct. You technically only have to sleep for 6 of them.
right. I'd like to spend so because of the flux foil, I had to remove one of my attunement items, so I took out the Hatted Disguise. I would like
Okay.
to replace. I'd like to reattune to the Hatted Disguise, replace the Ring of Protection with it.
Okay. So, just to be clear, if you want to become Esteban, he is size large.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how big you're allowed to be with the Hat of Disguise.
Okay, fair enough.
If that doesn't affect your plan at all, fair enough. But I don't want you to be confused by that. He's a large creature.
Noir
Plan
said,
B.
on God, Oobtaglor's getting vivisected today, and I won't take no for an answer.
Plan B might work then, but we'll see.
Okay.
There's so many plans.
You
There's so many plans that I don't feel good about any of them.
attune. Morning or day comes as you cross through Auntie Peak and
Just
into
mark that long rest before you say psych.
4 hours before peak. You all wake up, none the wiser. What would you like to do?
I believe our first order of business is getting this information to the Death Tyrant so that we can be relieved of any obligations to the bet, and then I think then we've got a soul or two to steal.
Yeah, not to worry, I've got the coffee in a thermos. It's all ready to go.
Hold on to that. I think
Well,
that
okay.
counts as a ranged weapon. I think if you throw, what's that delayed blast fireball? It's sort of delayed blast caffeine orb or something.
Yeah, a thermos is a lot like a delayed blast fireball.
Do you know how hard it is to get these good beans?
Do you know what you've done to
double
those
coffee
good
again?
beans?
Look, as long as the beans start out good, the coffee will always be at least kinda good.
Remind me
don't
to
know
stop
how
letting you
true
be in
that
charge of the coffee pot in the office. Right, Death Tyrant?
Wakes you right up, though. Yeah, that tyrant.
Before we leave, I alluded yesterday that I had a plan, and I would like to elaborate said plan to all of you. I actually have 2 plans. One of which, to reiterate, the bargain was that in exchange for Laurel Lockwood, we deliver Esteban alive or dead. I would like to stretch myself as tall as I possibly can that still fits within the size medium range. Had a disguise allows me to lose myself a foot taller, and I would like to assume the form of Esteban.
Okay.
Esteban alive.
How convincing is this?
It's pretty close. There'll probably be a penalty. On mechanic side, there'll be a penalty to deception checks. If you've never met Esteban, there's no reason to be suspicious at all. If you have met Esteban, it's possible you wouldn't even notice the difference.
Not.
But otherwise, it looks exactly like Esteban, other than he's a little smaller.
Now, he has met Esteban at that game.
No, Esteban was not at the game.
I'm so sorry.
Esteban was supposed to have it. Shemeshka wasn't like, why don't you come try and get it back? She was like, you don't get it.
I don't mean to be this person. Taylor, you can't go disguised. You're the one who made this deal.
This is also a wonderful point.
Yeah.
Well,
and also, do you want to die? What?
This would involve me having to make a elaborate escape. Yes.
Oobtaglor, we just got you out of that situation earlier today. Well, yesterday.
And the only way I see you getting out of there alive is if you're talking your way out of it, and you can't do that as Esteban. I mean, if it's a question of... And
you think I have this planned?
I turn into
You think
Esteban.
I have these planned out step by step? I only see the square in front of me, man.
If it's a question of look, coming from me, yeah, I thought about going as Esteban. That's a death wish. That's if we had a problem walking this man to his death, we should have an equal problem walking ourselves to our death.
I have to second the death wish point. This does feel like
What's plan B?
What's plan B?
I will undo the hat of disguise and say, from here to the what is it? To the mortuary. Is that a 3-hour walk away?
No, it's very close actually. You guys are just a hop, skip, and a jump. It's like you can see the mortuary from your building.
Oh boy, so if we get on Maroth's bad side,
it's like the closest landmark.
We're like dead in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so like less than an hour even.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're talking
20
like 20 minutes because
20-minute
Signal
walk.
is kind of
Oobtaglor,
confusing and annoying streets to
what
walk.
is plan B?
Okay. All right, Austin. Here's where the shenanigans come in.
Oh god.
Here's where they come in.
This is the shenanigans.
Right now.
Thank God we're finally starting the shenanigans.
We weren't in the shenanigans zone before.
Oh my god.
What zone were we in?
Performance of creation. As an action, you can create one non-magical item of your choice. I'm level 6, so the item can be large now. The maximum value of the item is 120 GP, and it lasts for 3 hours. I would like to create
Dead
a flesh
Esteban?
dummy of Esteban. Non-living.
Okay.
And then when it disintegrates in 3 hours and Maroth knows you scammed him and also where you live.
They don't know where we live yet.
We're public about that. Ingrid hands out business cards.
And they're very
well, okay,
effective at
fine.
bringing
Business
business.
cards.
This is a really good idea, you guys.
It's a pretty.
I do like this
synergy.
idea
idea.
better than you wanting to die. I will say.
I like this a
that
lot
I
better
think
than the
it's
you
better
being
than the-
like, "Hey, bet you can't vivisect me, boss."
Yes, in
like,
terms
this is
of
better than
quality
that.
of plan, we are definitely moving in the correct direction.
Does it cost less than 120 gold to make a body?
Cost?
A flesh dummy.
We should bust out Full Metal Alchemist. What's the price of the ingredients again?
A flesh dummy. We're not trying to resurrect a new person, a real person. This is a flesh dummy that looks
yeah.
like Esteban.
What could equal the value of a human soul?
yeah, equivalent exchange.
I'm not even gonna think about gold piece value. Like, let's not even be concerned about that.
I guess my whole thing is you're delivering. I just want to walk. I am
Well,
always on board.
there's Plan B Part 2.
Oh,
What?
boy.
There's more?
Can I ask a question before we get to
please.
part 2? Because I
Okay.
don't think my brain could handle the part 2 yet before we move on. So you want to deliver, and I'm sure that this flesh body is a really, really good one. But you want to deliver a fake dead body to a guy that cuts up dead bodies.
Yes, this
every
was
day?
a follow-up question I had as well.
It's
when
going
you say
it's going to
flesh
disappear in 3
golem-
hours anyway, so it's not like this is going to be a permanent. Like I said,
That is
like I've
not
mentioned before.
making the
Little
argument
Oobtaglor.
you think you're making.
If you walk in there and Maroth's first thought is, let me test the goods by giving it a little cut. When you say flesh golem, is it an exact replica of a body?
is it
Does it have
full of, like,
organs? Or is it literally just a
spaghetti?
hunk?
Well, I assume that I'll think, I suppose, to make it as accurate as possible, but there is
I
a
want
limit
you
to
to
this.
think of the entire anatomy of this guy.
There's gonna be a limit to your understanding of the inside of a person, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna be filled with sawdust, right?
Yeah.
If you cut it, does it not bleed?
This is a wild turn
Well,
of
I
events.
think blood congeals at the bottom of it follows gravity.
It
but-
depends on how long he's been dead.
Plan B Part 2. I can animate a large or smaller non-magical item I can see within 30 feet.
Oh god, it gets even worse with everything you say. Every single word that comes out of your mouth gives me more of a migraine. Oh god.
It's a good idea! It's a good idea!
I'm gonna filter the coffee
Noir,
through another layer
I
of
think it's
beans real
possible
quick.
that no one has ever thought of that combination of creation bard. It could be that I'm wrong,
You've
but
created
just for
life.
thinking of that, I'm gonna give you an inspiration. Take a DM inspiration.
Hell yeah.
for that.
This is creating
You don't
like
have
this
to
is
do it,
a
just-
3-hour Frankenstein.
I guess my only real aversion to this plan is that eventually it's going to become apparent that he was swindled and that you are the one who did the swindling. So is there a
Well-
way for us to make sure it doesn't fall back on the agency or that he can't find Oobtaglor afterwards?
I suppose the question is, would he automatically assume that the creation of essentially a body double would be in Oobtaglor's purview of abilities, or would it be something that the Planet Trade Consortium might whip up in an attempt to protect their boss?
What happened? What happens to the thing when it is done?
I think it just disappears.
Yeah.
Does it turn into Oobtaglor-esque slime? Because that might be a bit of a red flag.
Well, I guess what I'm thinking
Well, considering
is like,
Oobtaglor will have brought it, I don't really think it matters what it turns into.
Well, if Oobtaglor appears to not have any reason to suspect that anything is hinky, like...
Put a tag
I'm
on
not
it
saying
that
this
says
is
like,
about- Look,
If
okay,
Oobtaglor brings in
you
a
know what?
body that turns out to be fake, it doesn't matter whether it turns into something that says signed Oobtaglor or into a flashing neon sign that reads definitely not Oobtaglor. Either way, I feel like this is relevant. Like this is fine for you to know coming from the DM. Either way, it will be suspicious on Oobtaglor, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
the first
Yeah.
person that he's gonna come ask is
Like, don't worry about if
Oobtaglor,
it turns into
20
slime or
minutes
not.
away from him.
Look, let's be real. I'm not trying to salvage the plan. I'm just saying there is an approach where you successfully deceive him to being like, what? I had no idea it would do that.
There's also look if we're I'll
I was
justify
going to
anything.
exploit the letter of the contract rather than the spirit of the contract. I was told to deliver Esteban, and by all accounts, this is Esteban.
Not by all accounts.
I would say by some accounts he's not.
And it's definitely a fake version that you're puppeting around with your best impression
And-
of a guy you've met like twice.
I also think like yes you could say that the trade consortium somehow got him out, but like the first person that is going to be questioned is you, and while I have no doubt that you can talk your way out of things, that would be a very 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 hard situation to talk yourself out of.
Do you remember yesterday when I said, have you tried doing literally anything else? I should have amended that statement. I should have said, do literally anything else except for the other plan that you're thinking of.
What was your plan, by the way?
You guys
and
are
is it
such
any better than this?
buzzkills.
I
Noir is
Sophia,
such an
the
interesting,
person,
unique,
love
awesome plan.
this. I think it's spectacular. But Ingrid is like, this is so obviously going to come down on us in a way that is not good.
Oobtaglor, I want to give you all the credit. This is a very creative way to use your skills. However, I do think it ends with you dead really badly, and I don't want to do that today.
I would
You
also
don't
like
want to
not
do
be
that
clever.
either, right, Oobtaglor?
It's
You
not
don't
today,
want the
it's
day to
in
end like
3
that
hours.
either, right?
3 hours
Or-
and 5 minutes, possibly.
Today
you don't-
was not the operative word in that sentence, Oobtaglor.
I just want to make sure. Am I being too forward when I ask this?
There's a
You
mystery
are-
here. There's a mystery here, and we can solve it. There's the body right there that we desire and we want very badly, and we have an opportunity to get it. This is what I'm
Oobtaglor?
offering.
Oobtaglor, I need you to slow down and breathe, all right? I understand where you're at. You see it in front of you, and you think you can just run and grab it. But I'm telling you, this doesn't go well. Sometimes you have to take things slow and steady and trust that you'll get there when you get there. Now, Mr. Lockwood ain't getting any deader. He's waited this long. He can wait a little bit longer. We can figure out a way to do this right and carefully and not make any sacrifices, okay?
Or
Don't.
listen. Far be it from me to suggest ideas, because I'm the DM. You're the players. It's my job to solve your questions, not to give you answers. Right? Different things. That being said, there is a character among you who will not be among you for much longer. Who is a shapeshifter.
Who? Yeah.
There's the possibility
Yeah.
that someone who could go underground very effectively could take the heat from this gambit.
All right, well, Bileyg's answer isn't changing, but, like, the party can do what the party wants to
Just
do.
recognizing an opportunity.
Take
But
the heat
all these things do
as
still retain risk.
Oobtaglor or as...
I put on the hat of disguise and I turn into Nix. That's not how Nix sounds. I'm sorry.
Is that really what it sound like?
If I can deliver Oobtaglor, or I can deliver Estevan and say that we gotta put the heat off of Oobtaglor, I think is the main thing. Right? And I turn to the other Nix.
Yeah, yes, but are you... I just want to be clear, are we transferring the heat to me specifically? We could transfer the heat to anyone.
But true.
But
That's
again,
true.
my whole thing is you made the deal is my whole thing. So I mean, maybe, okay, if I'm thinking of... how badly do we need this body?
It's
And be
Ingrid,
honest.
it's your mystery.
No, Ingrid, sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
I thought...
Look, I mean, it would
No, no.
certainly help solving the mystery to have direct access to the body, but I don't think this is our only avenue. I would rather none of us be at particular risk in this instance. If people want to act of their own accord, that is certainly up to them.
I guess my biggest worry is that if we kind of, and maybe it is a little selfish, and I'm sorry, but if we mess up any part of this deal, then
Then we don't get Nil back.
And then we don't get Nil back.
and I don't know that I can sacrifice that. I don't want to mess up even honestly
No,
when
no,
you were
kiddo,
like,
don't
and
worry.
also after we had already gotten Manny and Nil in the agreement, I kind of panicked a little bit.
Hey, it's all right, okay? Don't worry, kiddo.
okay.
No sacrifices today. We're getting your sibling back.
I
think
This
perhaps it
deal's pretty
sounds
cut and
like we
dry.
are all largely in agreement that as inspired as Oobtaglor's plan is, the risk is not worth the reward, and we should focus our efforts on getting Nil back.
Okay.
It is such a cool idea. I do feel bad. It's
really-
just,
Hey, you know what?
really
It's
do love
so
it.
cool.
There's
but
plenty more days.
yeah, like all the credit. I gotta admit, this is like 90% of a really good plan. We just don't have the oomph to push it the rest of the way to make it a clean getaway.
It's the getaway. Yeah, it's just the getaway.
If this was the finale, hell yeah.
Yeah. It puts the heat either on Oobtaglor or on Nix before we
mid-season
get
finale.
Nil back for Nix, and both of those are bad options.
Now, in order to, I think we should begin walking over to the mortuary. Are we all going up
Yeah.
to the room together, or are we just sending Oobtaglor?
No, I'll do it.
I shouldn't go alone.
I'd like to go with if it's an option.
I think I should go alone. Right now, the heat is on me and only me.
Can you make me invisible again? I can come with you.
I think
don't
Oobtaglor
know if we
scoping
should
could
risk
make you
that.
invisible.
I can be. Well, no, he likes the rats. I could be a rat.
You could be a
Well,
rat.
he gave away the. He
Could be
gave
a
away
rat.
the rat. I could just
You
be a
could-
rat on your shoulder. I could be the rat that you saved and say that it was actually kind of endearing and you didn't actually get rid of it and now it's your little pet. I turn into a rat.
I think.
Wait, no, I don't. I can only do that once a day.
Yeah, so keep that one in the back pocket.
I keep that in the back pocket.
Strongly consider turning into a rat.
I could turn into a rat.
I mean, Oobtaglor, I will ultimately leave this up to you, but I don't know that it would ruin anything for at least one of us to go with you.
Well, at a guess, I would say Maroth probably wouldn't welcome me into the inner sanctum. But Oobtaglor, I'm going to leave this one up to you. Do you want me to have you back in there, or do you want me down here?
My thought is that even after we do the exchange, Maroth will not let me go. That's what I've been operating under this whole time, frankly. I don't want to put
definitely
any of
going
you
with
in
you
danger.
if that's what you think is happening.
I'm sorry?
I'm definitely going with you if that's what you think is happening.
We're not going to defeat a Death Tyrant together.
No,
we don't need to
can
defeat him.
escape one.
But why would
And then the heat gets put on all of us?
Look, if we're at the point where Maroth is, regardless of us fulfilling the deal to the letter, not letting anybody leave, then I fear that the heat was going to be on us regardless of the outcome. If it is as you are assuming. And if it's not as you're assuming, then, well, we'll deal with that as it goes. I think perhaps it'd be best of us all to go in this instance.
Okay. Okay.
Alright, so you arrive at the mortuary. The gates still stand in front of you. And as you approach, begin to look around, a familiar, bald-headed, potentially vulture-like Aarakocra descends, and peeks through the bars, kind of like one eye, then the other eye, looking back and forth at you.
We have a meeting with Maroth. Will you please, for the love of gods, just let us in?
Yeah, I heard about you.
Oh my gosh.
Just you, though. Points to Oobtaglor.
All right.
Unless you got something to carry in.
If you'll give us 5 minutes.
Give us 5 minutes. We might
Oh my
find
God.
something around the corner. I
think it's just me. I think it's just me.
Okay.
Are you sure? Well, I do want to start up my psychic whispers.
Yeah, psychic link,
first of all.
psychic link.
So let me
Alright,
let me do the
fantastic.
psychic
Set up
link
the
real
psychic
quick.
link.
For
If you need help, just
5
holler.
hours.
There you go.
5 hours.
Alright.
Oh, and I'm gonna put a little hand on Oobtaglor's shoulder and cast protection from evil and good.
Okay. How long does that last for?
10 minutes concentration.
Okay.
Please take the stairs quickly.
Oobtaglor, can I be a rat and come with you?
I'll be fine.
You are led back into the mortuary. Through corpse shipping and receiving. Through various twisting hallways, morgues, crematoriums, other unspeakable rooms past you. For as decrepit and horrifying as it is, to its credit, there are never any shrieks of pain. So that's nice. You come to the large spiral
That's like
staircase
the bare
that you descended.
minimum for a mortuary. Like, oh, at least the dead aren't screaming about it. Thank goodness.
Well, you know,
Sometimes you get
can.
mortuaries and they will not shut up.
Yeah.
You are led up the spiral staircase. Takes 10 minutes and 6 seconds.
Fuck you.
The spell is still under effect, and
Thanks.
you, perhaps if you had to navigate your own way, it would take you a while, but with a guide, you are able to make it back into the lair of Maroth, and he's on the far side of the room. Instead of in the center this time, he's on the far side of the room, dealing with, looks like a bunch of, like, scrolls and stuff like that. And one eye catches you as you enter, and the rest turns around. I assumed I would be seeing you. It seems that you come without any tangible gifts, unless those pockets are rather deep.
Unfortunately not. I was not able to acquire Esteban, alive or dead, and I do apologize for that.
Sad. Well, nothing to apologize for. The deal had stipulations, contingencies. If you have delivered on the first part, then we are still square, even if all parties will not go home satisfied. Can you deliver on the first part, little bird? Do you have a song to sing for me?
Okay, Hades.
Alright, now
Little
Noir has to do a
songbird.
Hades Town parody in order to
Let
deliver
me
the information.
I can't be bassy enough for Hades. This is heartbreaking. I can't be tenor enough for Orpheus.
I would like you to
I
deliver.
know.
I would like you to deliver the body of the changeling out first before I provide my information. If I don't give it to you, you'll kill me anyway. And if I give you the information before delivering the body out, you could still kill me. So I'd like some guarantee that at least my end of the bargain will be held up.
Make a persuasion check, please.
I have luck again.
Oh,
Hey.
thank God for long rests.
19.
Okay. 19? I suppose that is only fair. You see the telekinetic eye wheels the gurney, one wheel that doesn't quite go right and squeaks and wobbles as it goes over to the door, and is taken by that Aarakocra, who grabs it and then goes over. So there's I mentioned yesterday, the spiral staircase is a big hole in the middle of it, so that the Death Tyrant Maroth can just float up and down.
Gross.
The Aarakocra grabs it and goes over the edge and like wings. And, like struggles to lower it down, slowly flies down to the ground.
I
It will
went
be waiting for
completely
you
the wrong
outside
direction.
the premises.
I thought they were just gonna wheelbarrow Nil over the side.
That would have been funny as hell, but I'm not that mean. Lowers it down. It will be waiting for you outside, should you leave.
Thank you. Now, as you know, the information you wish to know regarding the Planar Trade Consortium was surrounding the chronosphere of Lagos. Given your nature and your background, I assume you know what the chronosphere does.
That was not part of our bargain.
So you would like me to explain to you what the chronosphere does?
He's saying, like, you tell me what you found out. I don't have to tell you anything more about what I know.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I think Noir was going with like, do I need to explain this to you or do you already
Oh.
know? And
Yeah,
He's saying,
Maroth
tell me
was
everything.
going right.
Maroth's saying, I don't have to tell you if I know it or not, so explain.
Okay.
Okay, so I
Carry
don't
on.
need to explain to you what it does. Then, I assume you have developed a rather extensive profile on Esteban, and I would be inclined to think that your perception of him is correct. He is selfish, and he wishes to prolong his empire for as long as he wishes. There is no altruistic goal. There is no redemption of his soul, so to speak. Only an extension of it, if you catch my drift.
then he knows truly what its purpose is. He is as dangerous as I suspect. I find your information satisfying.
I give a little bow. Then we are quits?
Yes. I have much work to return to. Goodbye, Oobtaglor Burr. Next time I see you, I'm sure it will be because you have come through the back door.
Oh, I hope not. You wouldn't be able to vivisect me then.
I do enjoy these talks.
Give him a business card.
Perhaps we'll meet again while you still live.
Okay.
Maramath contact
I'll give
gained,
another
social
bow.
rank 2 out of 4.
I'll walk out the door.
Alright. You have tangled with one of the most powerful beings in the entire city of Sigil and lived to tell the tale.
Yeah, I was just saying, one of the few notes I got, like, before I even started playing this entire campaign was about Oobtaglor was, and I quote, hold on, not very well liked. And so far, one of my dearest friends has done nothing but help me and has befriended a Death Tyrant.
Noir will always find a way to ingratiate his characters
Noir,
to the
stop
most
collecting
powerful and
powerful
dangerous
beings
being.
as...
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Noir, shout out for being, you're a good risk taker in D&D.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I could have uningratiated myself by providing the fake Esteban, but no.
Oh, that would have killed you and been a real bummer. Whatever, man. As things stand, Maroth and Mistra are getting tea on the weekends talking about this crazy person they're hanging out with.
Did you hear about this guy? He just walked in, flew in.
Fantastic. Oobtaglor, waiting by the front door for you is a covered gurney with a changeling underneath a sheet. You wheel it out across the long walkway up. The gate is opened for you, and you emerge on the other side with what you came here to get.
Whew.
The rest of you see Oobtaglor return alive and well, with a dead body on a table.
Okay,
Nix
I have a proposition.
sprints
Let's
over.
take Nil to the office and leave them there while we get the soul.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I don't want to kill the mood, but I do have a bag of Holden.
That's so fucked up.
I mean, hold on. Just give me a
We can go to
second.
the office. We can go to the office. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. Okay,
Next
yeah, I
process.
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't like that. But thank you. Hey, wait, but no, seriously. Oobtaglor, like, I know we got into a little bit of a tiff, but I just want to say, oh god, I suck at this. I'm sorry. I want to say that I think you're amazing, and thank you so much for doing this, and I truly owe you a debt. And I know that's only halfway done, but I'm sure Nil would really appreciate it too.
I'm only doing what the investigation requires. You don't owe me anything.
Yeah. Of course we'll help you, man.
I disagree, but okay. I appreciate you saying that. I still will anything you need, basically, kind of thing.
Will you allow me to wheel in a fake Esteban into the mortuary?
Anything but you having a death wish, and I just
Then you don't owe me anything. You don't owe me anything. It's fine. It's okay.
I just want to like touch on that for a moment. Are you okay? We could talk about this telepathically too, if you don't want to talk about it in front of people. I switched to like the what did we call it?
You say in front of a bunch of
The
people and then
thinky-talkie.
just start staring at each other.
The thinky-talkie. Are you?
I'll just take the gurney. Whoa.
Let's go back to the office and then we'll go
Ooh, these
beat up a
cobblestones
dead
are
man about a
brutal.
stone.
Okay,
Yes.
let's go beat up a
Old
dead
man
man
about a
about an
stone.
old man about a soul.
You think one of the
Gotta
most
see an old man
powerful
about a soul.
groups in Sigil could afford gurneys without busted wheels?
I think that whoever's on the gurney typically doesn't care too much about the smoothness of the ride by the time they're on there.
Whoever's
It's the whole
pushing.
thing.
It just feels
on
Horses
disrespectful.
is usually a
cobblestone
zombie.
road,
Just
so
be careful, please. Oh, that's a pothole.
I'm doing my level best, but I can only see a little ways around the gurney.
Don't
God,
look
it's
at
such a
me. My
comedy of
strength
errors
score
of
is
wheeling
negative.
a dead body across single. It's cobblestone the whole way.
The wheels are
fucking
like
Belgian
3
block.
inches across, so it's just like every rattle just works its way up. There's no shocks on this thing.
All right, so you want to leave Nil's body at the agency?
If that's okay
Can
with
we
Nix.
Drop
put
it
them
off.
in? Can we? I just want to. Can we put them in my little? Can I put them in my office? And I gestured to the little hut that I have.
They can have
your
the
up
spare
there
thing.
on the shelf.
You can put them wherever you like, really.
Yeah, I'll get all the sleeping bags out.
Okay.
Oh,
And I like so delicately like drag this body up to the my little crow's nest that I have in this office, and like
You begin dragging, and Agony comes over and lifts from the feet to help you get Nil's body up.
Thank you.
Can I do like a quickie
Course,
little medicine
boss.
check to see like
Why is the sleeping bag full of pillows and shit?
What are you checking,
Oh,
Blake?
yeah.
I just wanted to see like how busted up the body is. Like, has it been healing on its own, or like are all of its injuries still just piled up? Like,
You can do a medicine check, please.
all right, I have no proficiency in this.
Margaret.
I am good at swords, and not this.
Well,
And I rolled a 10, so that's an 11.
okay. You check. Definitely hasn't been autopsied. And
good,
you do
good.
notice a scratch along by the collarbone that is clotted.
So it's healing its own injuries. Okay, well, when we get
Perhaps.
the soul back in, I can pump some points of healing into them, and that should probably fix things. Okay, let's go get a rock from an old man.
All right.
Okay.
You make your way to the ladies' ward. Ingrid, you've lived here a long time. You're familiar with the estate of Zadara. As you approach, you're familiar with many imposing structures in Sigil. The streets are cramped. The buildings loom over you in most places. But what you're less used to are walls like these. Some places have them, certainly, but they're usually official buildings, staking out their own space, even though people are welcomed in. This is one of the first times you've seen a private residence walled from you. From the looks of it, very much space walled off from you. They stand some 30 feet tall, impenetrable save for an iron gate, an image intricately woven into the lattice of bars, a mountain with 3 peaks. Buildings surround the compound, some more imposing than others. As you approach, you see that flanking these gates, high up near the top, are 2 winged people, their arms descending into not hands, but blades. One of them gently floats down, the wings needing no movement, comes down and alights in front of you. You see an angelic figure with pitch black eyes that looks at the 4 of you. What business do you have here?
Good day. We are here to see Lothar the Old.
Ah. Kind of considers for a moment, and then, excuse me, sorry. Sometimes there's a pause because I read something, but a character wouldn't pause. You see, he says, he is a he. You see, he says, ah, yes. This is your first time, I take it. I don't recognize you.
Well, it's the first time for everything, isn't there? We've been all over the city on various errands, but yes, it's our first time at the estate. Although I understand that Zadara is a great patron of the arts. She may have seen some of my work before.
Perhaps. That is of no consequence. If you wish to see Lothar, we know that he is available. Gog! You see, he calls up. The other Archon flies down, and the first one says to him, please take these to Lothar's quarters. See that they are not to wander anywhere else. Please encourage them to keep their meeting short. Gog gives a nod, and then the gates behind open, and he motions with one long bladed arm for you to follow.
I think Ingrid's just gonna start going with it, because at this point I'm like, there's nothing technically suspicious about us or them at this point, so just keep an open eye and ear and let's play along.
It does seem like this is a thing that must happen, because even though you're being watched, they're like, okay, well, you don't need to show any, like, identification or anything.
Yeah.
Lothar doesn't want to see you. He'll just say, oh, we don't want these guys, and then they'll kick you out. So, floating about 6 inches off the ground, no, wings don't move, just kind of hovers, Gog, the fallen Sword Archon, leads you down a wide gravel path. You see the inside of this place it's like a whole fucking compound. First off, there's a giant manor house in front of you that's huge. It's got like columns and stuff. It's very Greek looking, very Pantheon-esque. And all around there are gardens and little pools and walkways, and you see there are lots of smaller buildings all around. Presumably, you see like gardeners coming out of one. Like presumably, the servants of Zadara live in most of these smaller buildings. You are led to one that is in keeping with the rest of the aesthetic. It is very small, hut-like, but well kept. It is definitely not in disrepair or anything. It's just really, really tiny. You see that Gog motions with one arm for you to approach the door. If Lothar wishes to see you, then you will be invited in. I will await here for you to finish, and then you will be escorted back out.
Gotta give them a
Remember,
quick nod.
we are listening, and Zadara does not take kindly to any foul play on her premises.
I appreciate the warning. Thank you.
Nods and just turns and hovers silently, waiting by the door.
Go walk over and give it a little.
You give a rap, and no more than 7 or 8 seconds later, you hear doom, 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 and then the door opens, and you see standing on the other side an imposing figure. Some 10 feet tall, it resembles a ghoul. Huge, giant, slack jaw, pointed teeth, wicked claws, but instead of being made out of dead flesh, it is made entirely out of stone. The empty, kind of soulless eyes fix on you, and then it steps back for you to enter.
Thank you.
Walking in past this stone guardian, you see that this room is not furnished at all. It is just an empty room on the top floor. The only thing of note, a staircase on the far side.
Giving Ingrid flashbacks to the house that tried to eat her last.
The stairs go down.
Can I ask a question? Since we didn't really talk about like walking into this place,
Yeah.
I know that it was important to Nix to not be recognizable for their sibling when I thought that I was gonna see them at the other place. Can I be a rat coming in?
Yeah, you want to be a rat?
I want to be a rat. I want to be a rat.
Not now there's 3 rats, you know?
Yeah. There's
I'm
a rat
hanging out.
per person.
It's like a freaking rat parade.
So who's got both of your rats? You and also Manny. who's
Manny and I do rock paper scissors to see who goes with Oobtaglor. I lose, so Manny, you're with Oobtaglor, and
I just kind of mutter to Manny, you gotta move around a lot so that you don't sink.
It's like standing on mud.
Like quicksand.
like you'll sink in if you stay too still. It's like, I think that I hear you say. I think that's a little too complicated for Manny. I'll go with you, Oobtaglor. If you want to go with Bileyg, I don't think he's as porous.
I've been called worse things.
Yeah, we split up three rats and a baby.
3 people, 3 rats, and a stone guardian shaped like a ghoul descend a
Walk into a
staircase. Why the long face? descend the staircase. Leaving the bear quarters, you enter what is actually an expansive, beautifully furnished room. It's real, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Instead of one overhead light, there's, like, little lights everywhere. It's very good. It's got good ambiance, right? They're, not fairy lights, but there's little lanterns hanging all over the place, candles placed upon tables. There's beautiful furniture down here, though it does not seem to be connected by any sort of design philosophy. Like, nothing here matches in aesthetic whatsoever. It is extremely random, but it is all of fine craftsmanship and make. And lining the walls all over this. This room is much bigger than the house above. It is somewhere on the order of 4 to 5 times bigger. And besides a sitting area and a sleeping area, and a couple other things that are all kind of sectioned off, the majority of this room, both in space and then along the walls, are shelves and shelves and shelves of skulls.
Huh. Oh.
Welcome to the domicile of Lothar the Old, aka the Bones of the Night. As you enter, you see that there is, peeking about the skulls, there is a doddering old man. He's looks like he's got to be 85, pushing 90.
All right.
Bald as shit, long ass beard.
Old people fight.
It's impossible to tell whether he's wearing very old wizard robes or pretty decent in shape pajamas.
For the folks at home, 2 separate people on the call are limbering up to beat the shit out of this old man.
There's only room for one old person on this podcast.
How many times do we have to teach her this lesson?
Oh no.
No.
You see that he's picking up skulls and looking at them as if he's looking at the covers of a book to be like, oh no, this one, not this one. And then he hears people coming down. He turns. Oh, guests. I don't think that I expected anyone today. Who might you be? Apologies. You probably know who I am, but I am Lothar. They call me Lothar the Old, but I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. And who might you fine folks be?
Hello, dear. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You are right, we did not have a meeting. It's, well, we heard of you by reputation. We simply had to come by. Oh, where are my manners? Ingrid Starling. And when people call me old, it's because they've just had so much time to watch me on the stage. It makes people really think you've been around a lot longer than you have. Trust me, you don't look a day over 40. Hand out.
You flattered me. It'll get you everywhere, dearie. Oh, a pleasure. And your friends here?
My compatriots.
Bileyg just salutes. Okay.
Oobtaglor, Burr. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, charmed. Would you care to take a seat, or do you sit, good friend? It's unclear to me.
Slime.
Oobtaglor.
I'm already
do you
sitting.
sit?
Yeah.
Understood. Please then, do a more comfortable place. That one's my chair. Please don't sit in it. And comes over to a rocking chair that's there, sits down, starts to rock back and forth. So, it's nice here, isn't it?
It's cozy.
I know. I used to live in a sewer before I was relocated here. Quite nice, but I did take all of my belongings. These were all mine. It felt unhomey to start over without any of my furniture, or my skulls, of course. Can't go anywhere without my skulls.
It's important to have those little touches that make it feel like home. Now, I do have to say...
you understand.
Yes, of course. I mean, I've got tomes and tomes and tomes around my apartment of just old screenplays and scripts and whatnot. It's good to keep things that feel like you around. But darling, I do have to say, we're not here just for pleasure, although it has been delightful chatting with you. I want to say this with all of the kindness and the understanding that we don't care about where it came from. We're just hoping we can come to a deal that's good for all. We believe that you may be in possession of a soul of a friend of ours, and we're hoping to reacquire it.
Oh, probably. I have quite a good deal of those. Reacquire, you say?
Yes.
That is a sticking point. I'm not really in the business of selling them. If you wanted to learn something from them, like perhaps if they owed you some great debt and you wanted to find where they had stashed it, I could help you with that, no problem. But I don't normally sell them since they are kind of priceless, you do understand.
Of course.
Can I mentally tag to Ingrid and just be like, ask about the process. Can we see the process? How does he get this information? Where does he keep them? Where are they?
Hey, while I have you on the mental phone,
I'm not used to bartering for things.
While I have you on the mental phone, how attached are you to that soul bowl of yours?
Attached to it? I mean, I was gonna try to get Nil's soul with it.
I think we need it to put Nil's soul back in the body
right now. Yeah, I just need it. I don't want to. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not used to making all these deals for things. My job with the Planar Consortium was just taking the things that we wanted. That was kind of my whole thing, was killing and stealing for the things that people said, no, they're not for sale. So this whole for sale thing, I am at my limit with it. So like, where are they? Where do they keep them? Ask if we can see them, and then from there, we'll figure out how to steal them.
Right. So I understand it's not usual procedure, but we're hoping that perhaps we had either something or knew some information that would be valuable enough to go for one paltry soul. I mean, surely your collection must be vast and full of storied creatures and individuals. But
Oh, it is, and it got that way by me not giving them away. I understand that you probably know some information I don't. I'm being modest. It's unlikely that you know anything I don't, actually. But that being said, even if you were, one secret for a soul, it's a wealth of a lifetime of information. They're simply not compatible.
Out of curiosity, do you have a sort of... I mean, you say you rarely let them go or sell them. What's the price typically if it were to occur randomly?
Well, I would need to replace that source of information, preferably with a deeper well.
Well,
Another soul.
Speak.
Well, it's not as direct.
Oh yes, I mean souls are sort of the new thing. They are somewhat how do I put this? They're somewhat troubling in that they don't always cooperate. They do after a period of time when they realize the hopelessness of it all, but they do, it's more of a conversation, a dialogue, back and forth. And it's useful because in this way we get to pick better sources of information, but as you can see, my preferred method is just to keep the skulls and speak to them after a person is deceased.
Well,
Much more direct. You don't have to negotiate.
Oh, well, suppose you acquired a soul without the skull. How does that work?
Oh, well, you're talking about what you're talking about. The soul, it's within a stone, and I can speak to it and have a dialogue and find out information. With the skulls, I have to wait for the person to be dead, or have them killed, obviously. But once they are, then I can just speak to them and they will tell me the secrets without any fuss.
So you don't actually need the skull of the person specifically, the skulls are just some sort of vessel through which you talk to the soul?
I talk to the skull and it knows what the person whose skull it was knew in life.
Okay, so it is the person's skull that you have here.
Yes, good person who's lived a grateful life. Fantastic skull to have among my collection. I have many great artists, clerics, spy masters, wizards, learners of many things among my collection.
well,
I'm actually just gonna say,
Yes.
As a player, like Nix is currently in rat form. Can they start slipping away now? Like, it's not like you need to excuse yourself. You can just start snooping while we're distracting him.
I would love to. I'm also furious with this guy.
Dude.
Yeah. No, he's a bad dude.
I'm
just-
doing
you
the
just see
Midwestern
Nick's,
politeness thing.
Would you like to stealth away?
I would. I think if we could. I mean, yeah, I'll stealth away. I do like the idea of Bileyg being like, "Do you want to go look?" Because Nix is so entranced of like, "I'm gonna fucking kill this guy."
Yeah, I think
guy right
Bileyg
now.
is like can see the rat vibrating with rage on Oobtaglor's shoulder, like, "Hey, kiddo, I think now's your chance to slip away while we've got him in a little politeness trap."
Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. I'll go now.
It's all right. Very
and
emotional
I-
situation. Keep us
slide
posted.
down.
So go ahead and
Oobtaglor.
make a stealth check. Now,
Yeah.
you do retain, before you roll, you retain your proficiency bonus, which means whatever, and if you have expertise, you retain expertise, but your dexterity score is no longer Nix's, it is that of a rat, which is a +2. So you can add 2 plus whatever bonus you have to your stealth. I don't know if you have proficiency or double proficiency
Yes.
expertise.
It would just be instead of a +9, a +8.
Oh.
Oh, okay, yeah, if you have a +3 dex, so yeah, really not
Oh,
that
darn.
much of a change. Go ahead and roll.
That is an 18 plus 8. So
26 is awesome. Whose shoulder were you on? Bileyg's?
I was on. I was on
Oobtaglor.
Oobtaglor.
I've got Manny.
Okay. Oobtaglor, you don't even feel as the rat slinks off your shoulder down to the floor and scurries away behind the stone guardian and off into the many bookshelf rows.
Can I just say that while I was trying not to sink the whole time, instead of trying not to sink, they just let themselves sink into the ooze and down to the ground and then scurry away. Yeah, it's like a little...
Yep, fantastic. All right, you slide down to the floor underneath the couch and then off and away into the bookshelves. All right, so that is what you're doing. We're gonna roll rolls, but you know what? You did a successful stealth. Let's start with a perception check to see if you can find where these soul stones may be.
Okay, come on.
And we just have to be Midwestern polite with this awful, awful man.
Have you
that
ever
is a
talked to a
16.
soul who was, a stagehand on the production of, what was it? A Midwinter's Night's Dream in it was been 300 years ago at this point. I have been dying to know about the backstage secrets from that production, and the cast party stories they must have would be insane.
Olivia, what'd you roll?
16.
Sorry to jump in after that, Sophia. But
Yeah.
what'd you roll?
16.
Sorry, 16?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, every time for some reason it cut off as you were saying it.
Of course.
It was like teen. Teen. Each time I was like, what? 16. Okay.
Say again, an old man can only hear
the
so
good
well.
The good news is that even though you have a bad angle as a rat, on a 16 you start looking around and you do see that there are a shit ton of stones here on a shelf. So you found where they are, and as a rat, I'll go say it's not too hard for you to clamber up there. The problem is there's gotta be 50 or 60 here, and they're not gemstone. They don't look like crystals, but they don't look like a regular rock. They're somewhere in between. They're all kind of rock-shaped, but they are very smoothly polished, almost like a really nice quartz. Although there's a lot of variety among them. I wouldn't say they're all clear. There's various colors and textures and patterns among them, but they all have that same kind of this is they all look like they've gone through a rock tumbler. And most of them are close to fist size. They're kind of chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of them remembers Nix fondly and
You
calls out.
Yeah,
more.
the
walk
soul
up to
is
the
in
first
there.
one, and you place your little nose against it, and you hear in your mind a voice go. You hear a woman's voice. She goes, "Is someone there? Is someone there?"
Nope. I go to the next one.
Don't leave me.
Sorry.
And then it cuts
I'm
off.
sorry, but I do that. Olivia feels bad. Nix doesn't give a shit right now.
Wrong number.
Okay. There's
Yeah,
a
wrong number.
bunch of
Gotta
them.
go.
So, we are going to roll. We're going to continue the conversation, and then we're going to cut to you, and we're going to roll, see if you find it. We're going to continue the conversation, we're going to cut to you. So, Ingrid, you say all of that, and he starts going, he's like, no, I don't believe we have anyone here who's experienced that. And then you kind of like you're still like trying to fill his time, and he goes, "Did you say you came here for something specific though? You were looking for a particular soul? What individual was this you were looking for?"
Yes. Do I know that Nix has left to go search?
I can't have updated you on that, but Nix could have if they wanted to.
Well, I think it's reasonable to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I also I think I said like, okay, I'm going.
Then Ingrid is going to
all good.
kind of obfuscate and shift gears to talk about Laurel, rather than ever bringing up Nil. So
I didn't want to metagame, but
Ingrid's like, yes, I am currently the owner and operator of Open and Shut Investigations, Single Detectives Hands for Hire, Heroes for Hire if you're nasty, and we were formerly owned by a man by the name of Laurel Lockwood. Now, I'm given to understand that his body has ended up at the morgue, but I was hoping that perhaps his soul had ended up here. If not for sale, maybe we could work out an arrangement where I could chat with him a bit. I just have questions about the title and ownership of the building and some of his previous cases that it would really benefit me to be able to pick his brain about. If that's at all something that could be arranged, or if that's even someone who's here under your purview.
Oh, interesting, curious. My dearie, I hate to be a bearer of bad news, because that does sound like someone who could have come through these doors. We have many great minds and secret keepers. That's what makes the best library of information here. He does sound like he would be an excellent candidate, but I do not know Laurel Lockwood, and I'm familiar with all of our guests intimately at this point. I've spoken to all of them to learn what they know and try to get a feel for what they might be helpful with. But this Laurel Lockwood, if they did end up at the mortuary, which seems entirely possible, and if they were a target of Lycrich, who brings the soul stones here, I did not end up with it. I apologize for your time.
Well, I can't imagine the circle of people who acquire soul stones is all that large. Do you all know each other? Is there some sort of club meetup?
I can't imagine it is either, but it's kept on the down. No way he would say the down low. It's kept away from me. No reason for me to know where the rest of them go, since they are out of my reach. I dare say that. And he kind of pauses here and looks kind of over his shoulder at the golem, as if to he's kind of considering it. Says, I dare say Zadara might have an idea, and that she is not thrilled that she does not have a monopoly on this well of information, but she knows that I can get the job done, and thus she keeps me close.
I didn't want to say so, but it seems like... Sir, when we first came here, I assumed this was a sort of a gated community situation, very, very highfalutin, high society. The longer we stay here, the more I'm starting to wonder, are you free to move around as you want, or,
Yes, no, I'm allowed to go for walks, although I do prefer the underground. It was where I was always most comfortable. I hardly ever left, even with all those damn rats my neighbor kept bringing in. But...
Just push Mish down in the bag a little bit more.
I am free to leave and walk around, should I please?
Our patience meter is going down steadily as this guy's like, fucking rats, whatever. Oh, well, that's very good to hear. So, I hate to see, an elder perhaps in a rough situation, but it's good that you've got, your autonomy, and Zadara seems like a good boss.
Oh, she fits me quite well, as you can see. Far better than being self-employed and fending off against the various vermin and creatures of the Undersigil.
Yes, I meant to call my shot on this a little while ago, but when he said he didn't know Laurel, I would have loved to make an insight check, if at all possible.
Insight check? I imagine you would. Please go ahead and roll.
I'm just trying to keep the polite small talk going as long as possible.
By the way, actually, I think at this point we're going to do 2 rolls. I should have stopped. But we're going to do 2 rolls for...
Finding that stone.
For Nix. So go ahead and roll me 6 shelves. Roll me... a d6 for the first check. If you hit a 6, you're on the right shelf. And then roll me, let me know if you hit a 6.
Okay. 1.
No.
Okay. Second shelf, go ahead, roll me a d6. If you hit a 5 or a 6, Nix is on this shelf because you are closing off the possibilities here. So
4.
Okay.
God, we're getting
2
closer.
checks. Let's go back to the conversation. Ingrid, what did you roll in your insight?
18.
18? No sense that he is lying to you.
Okay. I have to ask because my former me, frankly, did have a habit of perhaps being able to use assumed names. Could I give you a bit of a description about them, just to make absolutely certain that they're not one of the souls in your possession? You know how folks can be when they've been hiding their identity.
At this point, make me a persuasion or performance, I'll allow it, check to kind of stall for time. Because you're going less direct information that he would assume you ask, and now you're kind of getting into the, like, this is less relevant. He might get suspicious.
I would actually push back on that, because this is basically saying, could Laurel's soul be here under an assumed name? Like, this is still the same point she was making at the very beginning. It's just like, it's clear that this is someone she's really looking for.
I'll take that into account. I still think that he assumes that he couldn't be wrong about it, right?
Right.
But that is a good point. I will lower the DC for this check.
Okay.
Cool. That's a 22.
Defense rests.
Yep. Okay. Cool. You beat it by 10.
Great.
Good thing it was low.
Okay. So you begin giving a description, and he listens intently and like starts like really considering. That'll eat up some time. So Olivia, go ahead, roll me a d6. A 4, 5, or 6. You're on the right shelf.
Nix.
Come on now. That's a 6.
Woo!
Yeah!
Okay. You poke through one at a time these stones. You've gone through a bunch now. Each person responds differently. Some of them yell at you as if you're Lothar, and they're enraged. Some of them are kind of despondent. Most are just desperate to be helped. You hear all kinds of people on the other side of these stones until you touch one stone. And you know that sensation when you look at a clock and you can swear the second hand stops? You're like, that second was longer than all the others. For whatever reason, it just kind of feels that way. Touching this stone, it was almost certainly no longer between you touching it and the voice coming through than any of the others, and yet this one feels like an eternity, like the second hand has stopped on the clock. But as you touch it, a familiar voice comes through to you. A voice that sounds just like your own. Is someone there? Hello?
Nil? Is that...
A very long pause. Nix?
I found you. Oh my god, I found you. Okay.
Where-
I'm getting you
Where-
out. I'm getting you out.
Where are we?
Do you know where you are?
Not really. There's a man here. His name is Lothar. Don't trust him. Nix, you gotta get out of here.
Fuck that guy. No, I'm getting you out of here. I'm getting you out of here right now. Let's go. And I gotta pick you up. I'm a rat right now, but I'm gonna do
What
my
happened
best
to
pick
you?
up.
You're a rat?
No, I'm temporarily a rat. I'm not always a rat, but it's really fun. I'll tell you, we can't get into this later. I'm so happy I found you. Okay. All right.
You don't know how happy I am to hear your voice, but Nix, I'm a rock. I have no body. I can't see.
I found your body.
Or feel
I found
or
your
hear.
body. I found your
What?
body. I found your body, and I found a way. I have a way to get you out. We just have to get you out of here right now. I have friends that can help right now, and we've been looking for you, and we got your body from a really, really scary Death Tyrant, and we're gonna get you out right now, okay? I promise. Just please, just don't worry, okay? I got you. I'm so happy I found you.
You say, I turned into a rat. I have your body. We got you from a Death Tyrant. And he goes, gods, I finally got mad.
No. Okay,
It's been
you know
so
what?
long
Fine,
in the
believe that
stone.
now. I'm gonna prove you in a sec. I'm gonna prove you wrong in a second. You can believe this is a dream. You can believe whatever you want right now, buddy. I'm gonna see you soon, okay? I'm gonna see you soon.
I don't
And
care if
wanna...
it's real or not. Just keep talking.
Okay. I'm here.
All right.
I missed you.
All right, so you're 5 shelves up. You're a rat with a rock. What do you do?
How big is this rock?
It's about the size of your fist, which is to say about 1/3 to 2/3 of your body size, about half your body size.
Can I
You're
try?
a
If I
quadrupedal
don't
animal?
try, Yeah, if I don't try, can I try to pick it up and pull a full, like, Cinderella's mice trying to pull, like, full-size human tools along?
Okay, you are a rat, which means that your strength is... -4.
Oh, God!
I would like for you to make me a DC... We won't even make it high. A DC 9 strength check. So roll your D20 and subtract 4.
We got this. So easy. That's a 16!
Yeah!
-4 is 12. Okay. With... You guys always beat the odds. With great effort, you get this rock up and... like underarm, and you go to climb down. This is going to take you some time, so we're going to cut back to the other group,
of course,
for
can I
see
also
if they can continue to stall.
I want to ping to the group, like, okay, I found them, I have the rock, we gotta go, but stall for me to get down this bookcase, because boy is it heavy, and I am a rat.
Yes, well, it does make sense that our former compatriot, former owner, who I hired and then lost, might be off and about. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. I mean, I feel like I've just been asking you so many questions. Tell me, is there anything that a detective agency could perhaps answer for you?
Oh, I mean, come to think of it now, I don't mean to be forward. But you clearly are very well informed, and though you don't look it, you admit to having gotten around Sigil for quite some time. Clearly you know a thing or two. And I think that you would actually be a magnificent addition to my collection. Not to be rude, but I covet your skull. Would it be alright if post your life, it were you left some sort of instructions for it to be ceded to me? It would be worth a great deal to me. I would whatever payment you wish for, I'm sure that I could come to something satisfactory for such a great donation such as your head.
Well, sir, I've got a couple follow-up questions, if you don't mind me asking. Well, when we were discussing the nature of the mechanics of the skulls versus the stones earlier, you indicated that the stones contain the soul, but the skull simply knows everything that the person knew in life. Is the person's soul trapped within the skull, or is it
not trapped within. It's more of a direct line to the soul, which has gone on to some other plane. It is possible for the soul to be destroyed and then the skull to not work, but thankfully that has seldom happened in my career. No, it's the soul goes on to another plane of existence and ceases to remember any of its things from life, but in the necromantic spell that I weave, I'm able to call it back for a short period of time and wrench the information from it like wringing water from a towel.
I see. Well,
Could you do that with me?
I was considering such a thing, actually. Do you have a skull? I'm not sure how to preserve your... Do you have a head?
I have...
I've never asked.
I don't think so.
Oh. Well, that's too bad.
So that's
Jim!
a no.
What about you, dearie? Could I interest you in a bargain for your skull?
It is an incredibly tempting offer. I do have some lingering contracts with my agent that I do have to work out to make sure that nothing is written in there. So would you allow me some time to at least look over the legalese and make sure I haven't already sworn my skull to anyone else in the process of my career?
Oh, please.
I heard about that, actually.
I understand there are many necromancers and devils who are ahead of me in the business.
It's
I
a
totally
crowded
understand.
city.
You don't want to double book.
Frankly, I'm impressed you've managed to stand out in the industry. Sigil is chock full of it, but your name is the one that always comes up first. So,
and of course, there's that famous...
You flatter me.
Well, there's that famous play, of course, Hamlet, Prince of Waterdeep, where the role of the skull is actually coveted by many actors. They're a posthumous role. They donate their body to the arts themselves. So, it's very possible that there's something in your contract about that, yeah. I saw that at the ring the other day. It was gorgeous.
Alas, poor Yanni.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, that prince knows how to talk, though. Woof. 4 hours and it felt like it.
Okay, for this conversation, I'm not even gonna ask for a roll. But we are gonna need a roll from Nix, who is a rat carrying a rock.
A rat with a rock.
I would love for you to roll me one more stealth check at disadvantage. So that's gonna be with your +8, but at disadvantage.
Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Nix.
Easy. Easy.
All you gotta do, roll 2 20s and you're golden.
I rolled 2 of the same number.
Okay.
Two 5s.
Oh no.
+8. And
Okay.
I am going to use a side bolstered knack.
Okay, so 5 and 8 is 13.
13 plus
I can't believe I have
6,
to check the
so
passive
19.
perception.
19?
19?
pretty
Oh,
good.
19.
I'm pretty sure you're good, but we're gonna go by the math here.
Maybe one
I'm
of
going
us
to
can give the
double
help
check.
action by coughing loudly while you drop the rock down
I'm
the
like
bookshelf.
scraping it down.
Bileyg does one of those like dad sneezes that like bounces off the walls. I'm
Okay,
so
real
sorry.
quick.
It's all this dust, you know.
That's crazy disadvantage 2 5s.
We
That's-
started this
Passive
episode
perception 10, you're
facing
good
down
on
a
that
Death
one.
Tyrant. We're ending it with small talk.
It's a time-honored tradition to have the
We're
guys
ending-
do some small talk.
We're ending it with
then-
the Prince of Waterdeep, which is my favorite thing I've ever heard.
I was just trying to rattle off something that might have a monarchy. I don't know shit about the current cities in D&D.
Pretty sure Waterdeep involves a beholder pretty prominently.
Oh.
It's a difficult
yes, it
role
does.
to
Well, obviously the
cast
prince
because
is a
there's only
beholder.
so many beholders who are actually interested in the stage. A lot
Yeah.
of them lurk in dungeons, but some of them do enjoy the limelight on occasion.
But you know, you do hear about the famous ego on them, you know? Like,
Oh
they
my god,
gotta be such
darling!
thieves.
Let me tell you, I have never worked with a beholder that was a pleasure to have on set.
Okay, back to the
Nix?
actual important shit.
Did you say a 19?
19.
The 19, you beat the passive perception of both the Stone Guardian and Lothar the Old.
Oh,
There
Back to the
is-
stairs and carefully creep your way up. Investigators have opened and shut. How are you going to end this conversation?
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today, dear. Thank you for humoring me and running through your collection in order to see if our unfortunate missing detective was amongst them. It seems that we must track down some other leads, but truly, it has been a delight. And should you ever have any problems and information that you need that require a living touch, please do get in contact, and I'll give him one of our business cards. We
do
are...
Oobtaglor have something to...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I thought Oobtaglor had something to say, but...
How good are you with uncovering the truth behind mythology or rumors?
My dear friend, that is my specialty.
Then I'm sure you know a lot about the ladies' mazes.
That is a deep secret indeed. Pray tell, what do you want to know about them?
The loop.
It is said that it's unescapable.
Someone
But who
must
said
have
it?
escaped to say
Well,
that.
well, hold on, people. Man, I'm trying to do the thing that you said, where it's like, what if they didn't escape, and where did the tales come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Oobtaglor, you say, well, who said that? You see Lothar leans in, he says, my dear friend, I have his skull on the shelf behind me.
Well,
As
that's
I'm
quite
carrying the
interesting.
rack, I'm like, guys, I got the rock. You guys coming? Let's go. Are you guys coming? We're done here. We got everything we needed.
Give us just a minute, kiddo.
Is there any more information you'd be willing to
Divulge.
depart with?
Not before payment. That sort of information is carefully guarded. A very important law, you understand. This is not the sort of thing that Zadara usually approves of me sharing, but you've been so kind and generous. It is perhaps possible I would be willing to take the risk, if you have something worth offering.
How many fucking Faustian bargains have we done in this campaign so far?
Well,
I
you
feel
know,
like
I
we
really
hit
didn't
the
expect
double
one
digits.
with
You've
the
done- you've
Death
done
Tyrant.
one.
I kinda
Oobtaglor's
thought you
racking
could
him up
not-
with
you couldn't really
fucking-
negotiate with him, but Oobtaglor was quite the charmer.
Yeah, no, that
So-
was amazing.
When you guys negotiate with him, I was like, oh, all right, well, all right, we'll see what happens with Lothar, I guess.
Yeah.
But
You
you
underestimated
are.
my Midwestern politeness. Okay,
It might be a door that we'll knock on at a later date.
fair enough. My door is always open, as long as those sword bastards that you threw.
And I'll take a look over those
Friendly
contracts of
fellas.
mine, and we'll talk again about the skull business, huh?
I hope to see you again.
all right. Are
Take
we-
care, and motions for the Stone Guardian. See them out, please.
Goodbye, dear. Kind of side-eye Oobtaglor and Bileyg, like, we'll be back. Almost certainly.
We'll be back. Yeah. This is the best lead we've got so far.
The last thing I would like for you to do. So here's what's up. As you get to the top of the stairs to the room, outside the door, Nix, is the Sword Archon. Not to put too fine a point on it, it's a fallen angel with swords for arms.
Mm-hmm.
It's an intense monster. The rest of the crew comes up the stairs. I'm going to ask... You're kind of between a rock and a hard place here, but you successfully stealthed.
Literally.
If you drop your form, you'll be a new person you'll be able to pocket the rock, but you'll be someone they haven't seen, which will be surprising. Or one of your crew can attempt to slyly pick up this stone and pocket it before anyone notices.
I have a third alternative. Nix and the stone dive into Oobtaglor's leg and swim up.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Can
I
Oobtaglor
would call
step
that
on
an
me?
Oobtaglor stealthy pickup, right?
Attempting
that
to
would be-
step
That would be
on Nix
flavor
and
of
the
Can you,
stone.
Oobtaglor
yeah, can
stealthily
you step
hiding.
on Nix and then Nix will...
I can only be so stealthy, people.
Not for nothing, but we do have 2 rogues in this party, so if someone wanted to climb into one of
Yeah.
Ingrid's enormous boots, that would not be beyond the pale.
Good point. I
Ingrid, do
told you
want
the
to
galoshes
scoop
were
up
good.
Nil and Nix?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a rat in my boot.
All right. I would love for you to roll me a sleight of hand against the passive perceptions
Oops,
of
I dropped a
Lothar and
hairpin.
I guess just the golem, because that's what's escorting you upstairs. So just the guardian.
It's a natural 20 plus
Yeah.
6.
Easy. You've never done anything smooth as butter
Oh
like
no,
this in your
my
life.
handkerchief! And then I'll reach down.
I'm a
Stone Guardian is like. It's the bend and snap.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Except all of my knees creak on the snap part.
And it's like a when your spine resets.
Oh my god.
Oh, you guys gonna do that?
Yikes.
But there's room in the meech pouch, so if Nix wants to take the stone and hide in there, and they can have a little rat hang until we get out of here.
I absolutely hang with Meech, and I'm the whole time I'm just like, chatting with Nil just to be like, I'm here, don't worry. Okay, so now we're in a pocket, and our friends have gotten us, and we're heading out the door, and no one knows it's happening. So you're home free, buddy. We got you. Don't worry.
Nil is there's definitely a slight instability to the dialogue with Nil, where they go from very relieved to anxious that this isn't happening at all. Not to put too fine a point on it, but in the stone they have no sense of sight. Here they can only hear what is spoken telepathically to them by someone touching the stone. They can't smell or taste. They have no sense of body. So there's no way, to them there isn't even an up or down to sense. It is the most sensory deprivation you could possibly imagine. The only thing that exists is pure thought within this stone. So there's definitely a sense of general anxiety leading to a lot of different reactions here. But by far the most common reaction you're getting is joy and relief.
Can when I feel those bouts of anxiety come up, can the, oh yeah, let's get real sad. Can there be like a little lullaby that like the rats would hum us to sleep with, like as a communal thing, like in the telepathic, and I'm just like singing that or like humming that with, and I want to get Meech in it too, and if Manny can come over and we're all just in the pocket, just like around. This is both heartwarming and also hilarious. We're 3 rats around this stone in a
Ingrid,
pocket.
I think Manny wants to be tall.
I think that is incredibly sweet.
We need the 5-part harmony. It's not the 1,000-part harmony that you get when Many Hands sings it, but like
yeah.
it's close enough.
Although
We
that was
have
always
an
more
acapella
spooky than
version.
comforting. You exit from Zadara's campus.
Many Hands
out
is like,
into the
want to see my
ladies' ward.
impression of the astral sea, and then they just all harmonize.
Yeah.
Sorry, please continue.
Out into the ladies' ward, back to the lower ward, back to the Alley of Dangerous Angles, and to
Home sweet
open
home.
and shut investigations. You find Agni standing guard, as always, welcomes you in. Welcome back, bosses.
Whoa.
Everything good?
As good as it can be.
Somehow, kinda, yeah.
I poke my head up.
You look stressed.
Can
It's
I
been
get out of the
complicated.
pocket now?
Yeah. All right, here, come out, kiddo. We got you.
Okay. I jump out. I turn back into Nix.
Sure.
And immediately get the soul bowl. I know it's not the spirit bowl out of my stuff. And I would like to try to put the stone in the soul bowl, and then from what the many as one told me, I just gotta flip it upside down or say the words. Do I have to say the words to put it in the bowl and then? Okay, that's what it is. Okay.
Yep. So you have to say the words to put the soul, to capture the soul and put it into the bowl, and then that will hold it, and then you can place it somewhere by repeating the process by dumping out the contents, so to speak. Do you remember what the words are?
Yes, I do. I wrote them down.
Fantastic. Not that it would have got you yet, but it's nice for the player.
Too bad you don't remember.
All right. Bye, Olivia.
I guess your
What a
siblings fuck
great
forever.
time! Can you imagine? I speak the words Mandu Malar, and I get the soul into the bowl, and then I run over to the body, and I, not knowing any specific ritual, but very ritualistically, like pour the bowl down Nil's whole body.
You speak the words with the stone inside, and you hear a actually quite loud, ear-splitting crack as the rock splits in half. Not all the way, but there's like a big crack in it, and the bowl dings as it's like you're holding it, shouldn't be able to ring. You didn't strike it with a mallet or anything, but as if it's a small gong. It's like there is a word for that. These bowls that you can strike with a little mallet.
Yeah,
and
the
they
like
make
singing
they make
bowls.
Singing bowl.
Yeah.
singing bowls.
Singing
Thank you.
bowls.
It makes a sound like that, and the gold around it all glows gently. And the bowl, the rock, is completely nothing anymore. You remove the rock, and the bowl does not look like it's holding, and there's not like a soul or liquid or anything in there. And yet, as you move it, there's the sense that it's full. You head over to Nil's body, and tipping it, repeats the words, releasing the soul from the bowl, and the light drains from the bowl again, as if it was liquid draining from top to bottom. It moves and pours through, and you don't see anything strike the body, but you do see a slight color come back to the cheeks. You see a shudder as the first breath drawn in months is taken in painfully, but with a relish for that pain, because it's the first thing that has been felt by Nil in that long. And if you had been feeling the pulse, you would feel a flutter of too many heartbeats at once before it steadies out again. Yeah, putting a soul back into a body is not it's not great.
Side effects include tachycardia.
Exactly. You watch as the color comes back in and the eyes reopen. For mechanical purposes, although I don't think they're going to come up, we're considering that this is I forget the name of the actual spell, but basically right now Nil has like 4 levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, I want to pump a cure wounds into them if that's all right. I didn't want to overstep the reunion, but like, I know it's not going to get rid of the exhaustion. I just want to, like, top them off.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You gently put a cure wounds in. You watch as the little cut that had clotted fades away into just a light little scar. And you see that Nil sits up and coughs very rough for a couple seconds. It's just like coughs up like a bunch of mucus, like
Blech.
the lungs have been sitting inactive for months, and then comes back. The eyes, like, even though it's not that bright in here, they go to pinprick pupils as this is the first light that they've seen in months. Distressing, uncomfortable, but relieved. Never have you seen someone so happy to have so many overwhelming sensations at once. Gingerly reaches up and places a hand on your shoulder and then on the side of your face, Nix. And Nil says, I knew I'd see you again.
Are you still mad at me?
You see there's a long, painful pause. And they say, I had a long time to think in there. And I don't know if I'm ready to forgive what happened, but I'm ready to have you back in my life again. I don't need any more pain of a lost sibling. One's plenty. And we'll figure it out from there. If that's okay with you.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too, and having arms pulls it.
I give him.
All right, I'm gonna go.
I'm so stiff.
I'll go put the
First
kettle
time
on.
the body has sat up in months.
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry I'm hurting you, but I'm not gonna stop hugging you.
Oh, it's worth it.
Take it
I've
slow,
forgotten
kiddo.
what pain was like. I've forgotten what blinking was like, actually. Oh, it feels good to blink.
All right, some real weak tea then.
I was gonna
Something
say
nice and not overwhelming.
Not the coffee.
Just like giving a peasant a bag of flavor blasted Doritos. Just
I put
brew
the-
a Hobbit tea that kills them.
I put the 4 times iterated espresso on the
Yeah,
highest shelf
yeah,
I can
like-
reach.
You make coffee out of coffee and just give him a heart attack.
Maybe we just start with water.
Welcome back.
Yeah, maybe there's a little
Just some
water.
water.
I get the nice herbal blend. It's good. It's good for stiffness.
So, we can continue to roleplay this conversation if we'd like, but the question falls to Olivia now. So, Olivia, this is your last episode with us.
Yeah.
And thus, it is the last episode of Nix being part of this agency. You have completed your character's goal with the help of Ingrid, Oobtaglor, and Bileyg. You have found and reunited with Nil. You have not broken any ties with the Planar Trade Consortium, and the potential is in the future for them to come back. But my question for you, the player, is how does Nix leave, and where are they going? Are they going back to the Planar Trade Consortium? Are they going underground with Nil? Are they doing some other third thing? And is that something that happens tonight, tomorrow, in a week?
I think Oh, hold on. Let me think for a moment.
In other words, under what circumstances are we saying goodbye to Nix?
I think the I haven't forgiven you yet hits Nix pretty hard. Of like, I'm working a bad job. I'm not. This isn't. I've seen the effects of the systems I work in, and I don't like it. And while my boss is fine, it's not a good world. So I do think. I think Nix is kind of just gonna drop off as far as the Planar Consortium is concerned. I don't think I don't think there's gonna be any answered notices. I think maybe one last time, and this is later, but one last pneumatic message in the tube to, my goodness, what's my boss's name?
Lazaro.
Yeah.
Lazaro,
Okay.
yeah.
We were just talking to a guy named Lothar, and that was the only thing my brain was
Yeah, I was about
volunteering.
to say Lothar.
You know,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
I make up a name and then the name that's canon comes up and I'm like, oh well, it is
Oh,
what it is.
I send one last message to Lazaro, and it just says, "I quit."
Okay.
And then I think I bring back Nil back to many as one, and I want to like have a nice little reunion, and like just make it a really really nice time for Nil, and like make them very comfortable, make them really like get them their favorite food, like we sing and hang out and everything. And then when they have gone to sleep, okay, maybe not when they've gone to sleep, I would like to ask a question. Look at the flowers. No.
Jesus.
No.
This episode was too chummy.
We'll buy the rabbit farm.
None
Buy the
of the
rabbit
bad
farm
things
wedding.
happened.
Don't
Man, I
take me
can't believe that you
seriously.
waited
It's
5
just good
episodes
dialogue.
to hiding your big reveal where you've been an agent against the players all along and you killed them all.
You were actually
yeah.
Nemo.
Yeah. Oh. No,
Taking
no,
your
no.
own place. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Question. When we have finished the job, this is a kind of crazy, out there question. Has it been the full 24 hours since the deal was struck with
Maroth?
Oh.
Maroth?
It doesn't have to be, but if it
asked.
is, you have to have. So, in other words, the Nil, like, Nil's not going anywhere for like a day, right? So, if you want to go try to get in under the wire with Maroth, you're going to have to like be like, okay, bye everyone, and go do that. So it's going to be there's going to it's not something you can like be like hidden down with the many as one and then sneak off to go do. You're gonna have to sneak away from these guys here.
Then that's a really nice dream that Nix has. And Nix goes and breaks all the telepathic bonds with Ingrid and Bileyg, and keeps it open with Oobtaglor.
Aw.
And says,
Okay.
Please meet me outside if you can, quickly.
Okay, I do so.
And I'm out there, and I say, I know I owe you a great debt, and I understand, that it's your job, but it was more than that, and I know that the only thing you asked me to do was this. And I turn into Esteban.
No, this wasn't the plan.
I could just we could go right now. We have like an hour left. I can get you that body.
No. The risk is too great.
It wasn't too great for you.
Live well, Nix. You have a chance to redeem yourself with your sibling. believe me, I know what that's... I know how precious a chance like that could be.
I'm afraid I can't. What if I can't? What if I can't redeem myself? What if all I could do to redeem myself is to save them, and that's done now, and
Then that will have been enough. You've done a considerable amount to bridge that gap. And I have a feeling that among Nil's many priorities right now, holding a grudge against you is not among their highest. Give it time. And don't do anything that would aggravate the situation further. And I'm sure you'll be fine.
thank you for everything. You are a really, really, really good friend, and I really needed one, not just a coworker. So thank you.
Well, of course, I'm the best of friends.
Do you want me to help you feed your house at least?
No, I got it. It's okay. Probably for the best that you distance yourself as much from house as much as possible. They seem to be growing bigger with no signs of stopping.
I noticed that. It's a little... Anyway, if you need anything, and I mean anything, I just find the rats.
Knowing me, I'll probably get myself into some wild situation that will require me to pull on every loose thread that I have. In which case, I will see you again under the most dire of circumstances, and one of us may die.
I mean, or we could get like a coffee too. Like it doesn't.
Oh, sure, we could do that too.
There's this
cool,
great
cool,
rat
cool, cool.
cafe. Sorry, Bileyg.
Oh, hey.
Bileyg was bringing tea because it's cold out, and it's.
Yeah. Let's. It's cold out here. Let's go inside. I should check on Nil, make sure they're okay.
We're trying to do stretches, but Ingrid's got the kind of flexibility where she's got a whole palm flat on the floor, and I can barely touch my toes, and my toes are so much closer to mine than hers, and I just don't know how she does it.
Years and years of practice. It's really more about maintenance than learning it initially.
Oh, I mean, I wish you'd told me that 30 years ago.
I just want to say
Fantastic.
thank you, everyone. I should get Nil back home. I guess we can go back to where we used to live in the sewers.
Would it be safe to assume,
But-
dear, that the two of you will be going to new pursuits together rather than staying here?
I think I need to take a vacation.
Well earned.
Or something. I think so. I think I just really threw myself into work to not solve my problems, and then now I've now a really big problem has been solved, and I'd like to sit in this happy moment that I haven't had in a long time.
Then, if this is to be goodbye, let me say on behalf of Open and Shut Investigations that it has been an honor and a pleasure, and we all hope that the two of you find nothing but happiness, rest, and relaxation. And should you ever have any problems that need solving, our door is always open.
Or if you just want to stop by for tea, there's always plenty. These guys don't drink it very
Don't drink
much.
the coffee.
The coffee's great. Sometimes you need to stay up for 48 hours.
That coffee looks explosive.
It's crazy that a halfling is like, sometimes you shouldn't have a good night's sleep.
Look, needs must, all
Not
right?
the stereotype, but...
Sometimes duty calls.
Siggle's changed me.
Oh, no, I was like this before. I tell you, the stories my siblings could tell.
God.
All right.
Siblings?
Before-
Siblings?
Oh, you don't want me to get started. There's so many.
Before Nix departs, is there anything else you'd like to say to each other?
No, I think we have tea. We do our stretches.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
let
sometime,
Nil-
get some
yeah.
fuel back into Nil and
Yeah.
let them relax and stretch.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 to 4 times they try to drink chi, they just choke on it. So it takes a while even for these like basic things to come back. But you spend an afternoon recovering, and then after going off perhaps one final time on your own to quit, knowing that the Planar Trade Consortium is not just going to let you quit after the many things you know, you and Nil
they'll never find me.
Underground into hiding. The good news is that what made you a useful agent will also make you incredibly hard to find. You have many skills, you're a changeling, the manyest one still backing you up.
They'll never suspect Eustace Bangs.
I turn it, as I'm leaving, I turn into Eustace.
We end this arc as we started it, with a doddering old man.
Have a good day!
And with that, I think we close the story of Nix as a member of Open and Shut Investigations. And as we pull away from that the front of that brownstone across the alley of dangerous angles to a well-swept street and alleyway on the far side, we see that there is a figure standing in the shadows. A dwarf approaches and, removing their hat of disguise, grows into a Shadarkai, an elf, and says to the shadow figure, "They've made contact with Zadara's agents. Between the Planar Trade Consortium, the Mortuary, and the Titan, they can't be left on their own unchecked anymore." We see that the shadowy figure emerges, a humanoid who we've seen before, looks like she is covered in like spikes and like she is made of of metal jutting from beneath her flesh. Adamak Iban, the enforcer for Shemeshka, says nothing but gives one single nod. And with that, we're going to end Season 2, Episode 5 of Rolling with Difficulty.
Dirty fucking dwarf.
I want to say, first off, you guys have made it halfway through the season, which means there's only 5 more to go. We're going to take a break next week, so relax and wait. And, of course, most importantly, we want to say thank you to Olivia, who came by and jumped into a very non-standard campaign with a great character idea into a very strange setting, and really rolled with it. Had, I think, some great adventures.
I rolled with difficulty,
I really loved
but
Nix.
Yeah.
Don't we all?
You did great. What are you talking about? You were succeeding left and right. It's a right who can't roll for shit.
We're going to be paying in episode 6 for talking our way out of both potential fights in this episode.
I love this campaign because if there's one thing Sophia doesn't have to do, it's edit combat.
This episode, oh my god, we did have one combat last episode. I'm getting antsy. But thank you, Olivia.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this was honestly so much fun. I had such a good time playing with you guys.
Absolutely
I loved
enjoyed
every
having
character.
class.
I love this world. I loved everything about this. It was such a great time. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I believe, fingers crossed, that we will have, because are going to have a mid-season Q&A, Sophia. Correct about that?
Yes, Olivia.
So I believe that Olivia
as well. So if you have any
will also be joining us for that. So
Nix and Nil,
come ask questions. I think that will be really interesting because we've had guest characters. We've never had a character come in for so long. A lot of amazing things emerged. I'm babbling at the end of an episode. We're going to see you in 2 weeks, and when we do, we'll sadly be without Olivia, but we will awesomely be with a new guest who you don't know about yet, but we do. So we'll see you then with our new friend. Until then, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Woo!
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Open and Shut, a Rolling with Difficulty campaign. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the continuing adventures of our detectives in the City of Doors, but during our off week, we'll be going live for the mid-season Q&A. Join us February 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern over on YouTube to ask your questions to the cast live in chat, or email us ahead of time at rollwithdifficulty@gmail.com. If you enjoyed the show, please rate us and leave a review on your preferred podcast platform, and if you really enjoyed the show, consider becoming a patron for even more exclusive content created by our cast. Whew! You got all that, Berks? Great. Then we'll catch you out on the streets of the cage.